So what I was going to say is one of my initial ideas was we didn't know if we'd be able to get Julia for all of these. And there is a sort of joy to the quiet year of how bad the map is. And because typically not everybody great at drawing, like especially off the cuff. And you have like one good arty friend who's like a tiny god in this game, and everybody else, it's just a mess. And so there's like a sort of like a charades joy to the ineptitude of your art usually. So I thought, what if we tried to keep that, except we also had Julia doing her map, and everyone playing the game could also go in, and we had like the player's map and Julia's map, like dueling banjos during the game. So you saw like our terrible one with our crude art, and over here, like a flower unfurling, is Julia's beauteous landscape. I still think it's a fun idea, but I don't know. Not everybody is as willing to sort of publicly pratfall as in art as I am.
Anytime you want a dueling art, Pat, I am so here for it.
That was man. So welcome everybody who is, I'm gonna switch over so I can be a little closer to the Twitch stream. I'm gonna pop out the chat. And hey, everybody on the chat right now, what we're doing is, we're just chilling out. We're chatting a little bit before we officially sort of start the game, because that gives people, first off, it gives you in the chat the opportunity to go, oh shit, Morpheus is fighting Neo in the Matrix. And you go tell your friends, and you're like, and then they all rush in here to watch this cool thing. It makes their lives better. You look cool because you're on the inside. You have your finger on the pulse of the zeitgeist. You're a ghost doctor. And then also we come in here and we do a fun thing, and with a side order of charity. So we'll sort of explain who everyone is, do our introductions and all of that. But this is, be aware, you're not coming in late and you don't understand our context, because right now this is just friends hanging out in the green room before the show. But it's also,
as Pat described it earlier, this is the gentle banter. This is lo-fi banter. Imagine a rainstorm, old movie quotes playing. You could study to this banter.
I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse and gets everywhere.
Like, you got to be so careful. You got to be so careful.
No, I just immediately, I'm like, harass me about Star Wars. Let's go.
you just learned this lesson.
But don't. No, I learn it every 2 years, basically. Every 3, you know. Go back to the well. Be sad for a year.
Go back to the well and be sad.
Wait till you go after the Droids cartoon. Then that'll really surprise you.
So, boy, how I still, despite I had my walk today, I got some coffee, I took my meds, I ate part of an apple, which I feel, I'm not saying I deserve a medal, but a sticker would be nice.
But you would like to keep part of a doctor away from you?
Yes. But nevertheless, I do a little bit feel like I am in a waking dream, and like maybe this isn't real, and maybe I am imagining it in that liminal state right before I wake up.
Which is 2020s.
Yeah. Oh, is this okay? Then now it makes sense. How would you?
Look, you got your medal.
Yay! The medal says you did okay.
you did stuff.
Adequate effort, friend.
Adequate effort.
Things were done. Achievement unlocked.
You achieved baseline. Kinda did it a little. One of my friends a while back did actually send me a trophy that said, you did it okay. And I'm like, God dang, I love this, but I am sad. I am sad, but also this is very sweet.
I do kind of love the idea of an award for like the bare minimum.
Middle place. It is a beige ribbon.
You finished.
You finished.
Way to go, you.
It's not even the hug you get at the end of the sprint. It's just a firm handshake.
Technically, you don't qualify for a participation trophy. However,
we're giving you intent to participate. Jesus
Yes.
Christ. Oh, it started as a joke, and then I realized that my entire chore chart has a bunch of intent to participate stickers, which it's not even a star. It's just the little things that come out of the hole punch that are stuck on there with spit. That is it.
The extra paper.
The extra paper, the waste paper that looks like a sticker, but I didn't even deserve a sticker. Ow.
This Scotch tape? This isn't even a sticker.
Yeah. You showed up. Okay. I think we have skirted the event horizon of being real sad, and now we're going to use that. We're going to use that gravity and that momentum to slingshot into the madness of creation and playing a game.
where we're going, we won't need sadness.
Sadness is a resource. So one thing I'm going to throw out, either to the mods or to our fabulous producers who are sitting quietly on the stream here, can we make sure that we get a little mark on the VOD of saying, this is where we do introductions to the people in the concept and the charity. And it's like, here's introductions. Here's a brief pitch for the charity. Here's the start of the game description. Here's the start of the game. Let's do stream markers in there, and let's make sure those carry over into the YouTube when we port it. If we can do that, that's great. If you can't do it, don't bother trying to send me a message saying you can't. But that's something, if people can do, that'd be great. And so now I'll say the official welcome, everyone. Thanks for showing up here on the stream. Welcome also to my fabulous guests and friends. Oh no, Mikey suddenly has become a living fractal.
Wow. This is so terrifying.
Impressionist streaming.
I feel like this is a tone. This is a tone.
Yeah, are we going to get in trouble for broadcasting like a preview version of Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future?
No.
The Star Wars fans came for him. Oh no.
Okay, there we go. Well,
is it back? Okay,
No,
well, sometimes they turn into sadness. I don't.
To me, that looked like I was like, oh no, is the reason I feel kind of disoriented, is this the Matrix? And then that happened, and it's just enough to plant a seed of doubt. But anyway, I am going to briefly point at various people, and they will introduce themselves however they like. They are free to toot their own horns with vast and rampant vigor, not feeling bad about saying good things about themselves, because if they don't, I will. I'll pull this car over and I will say really nice things about you if you don't say them about yourself. So,
Fair.
And also you can lie, just to say fair. It's fair game here. We don't judge. So first I will start with our camp dad, facilitator, and me wrangler, the fabulous James D'Amato.
hello, heroes. Pat, thank you so much for having me on this stream. I'm James D'Amato. I am the host of the One Shot podcast and Campaign Skyjacks podcast. Those are both RPG actual plays. Over on One Shot, I play as many different role-playing games as possible with really fabulously talented people, usually improvisers, comedians, or notable nerds of some sort. I also, over on Campaign Skyjacks, we are telling an ongoing story in a single role-playing system Well, I guess that's not even true, but it is an ongoing story. It's about anti-colonial sky pirates in a universe inspired by the music of the Decemberists. It's extremely specific, but also very enjoyable, and I think you would like it, audience. The last thing that I do is I write books, and I've got my newest book available on shelves right now, the Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide Expanded Genres Edition. My books are accessories to role-playing games. This one in particular has exercises and mini games to help make the process of building more complex and interesting backstories for your characters fun and easy to do. You can pick that right now wherever books are sold. You can grab that, including your friendly local game store or your favorite indie brick and mortar bookshop. Just call ahead for those smaller places because they can special order it if they don't have it on the shelf right now.
I would love to throw in there and say I met James a couple years ago, and I've played some games, folks, with some people that are way out of my weight class, and I count myself very lucky. I'm not saying I've hugged Matt Mercer or anything, but I for real have. But James is responsible for some of the best role-playing experiences in my life, hands down. He is a past master. And for real, if you do want to grab one of his books and you have a local game store or a local bookstore, please go to them and say, could you get me this book? It's really good for the publishing ecosystem. It's really good for your local store. Or if you don't have one, but you still want to try out a lot of the stuff that he has, we have a bundle of his books signed by James over in the fundraiser right now. And you can go buy those and, and then you're also getting the good stuff. You're also supporting James and you're also doing a charity. It's so many things at once if you like feeling really efficacious. And now to Jennifer.
Hello, I'm Jen Kretschmer. You can find me on the places that are listed that side. Directions. I am an author. I'm a performer. I wrote on Candlekeep Mysteries for D&D. I've written for Haunted West, which is up for an Emmy right now. I worked on Starfinder, among other things. I am a disability consultant working on the Walking Dead franchise with Skybound Games. And I do a whole lot of tabletop and performing. You can find me on Tuesdays on Demiplane's channel playing D&D in Children of Erte with Deborah Ann Wool. I'm also part of a vampire show on Wednesdays called The Nightlife. And I'm about to be in a brand new show where we're playing through some of the stories from the Radiant Citadel book, along with the authors, called Radiant Stories on Neverending. So I do a bunch of this stuff, and I'm the creator of the Accessibility and Gaming Resource Guide, which you can find pinned in my Twitter post.
Yay.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be here. Yay. That was a really rambling introduction. I'm sorry.
Oh, please. We have not begun to ramble. Also, I'll say, folks, Jen wrote part of Candlekeep Mysteries, which also, if you want to pick that up, we have that over in the Indiegogo, so you can get that book and do a little bit of a charity at the same time. And also, we're doing there what we did with the Wild Beyond the Witchlight when it came out, because over the years, we've done a bunch of D&D things, and we've made like a bunch of these cool D&D cards, of which, Jen has made one. So, so we're including Jen's card with that book, as well as a smattering of the other cards made by, I held up the wrong one for yours. Thank you, Jen.
No, it's all good.
So we've got like cards from Felicia Day or Critical Role or Jasper's Game Jay or the fabulous James D'Amato, and including the Pat Rothfuss bullshit card that I'm particularly fond of. That one I do have right here. That Pat Rothfuss bullshit when you want to bring it to your gaming table. And so if you want to get some of those, we don't sell them typically, but you can like buy a book and get some of those as a little sauce, as a little incentive to come and buy a book and do a charity and experience some good gaming stuff all at once. Boy, I am like the color commentator here. I gotta dial that back. Mikey.
Yeah, I feel like if you had asked me 5 years ago, I'd have a much longer list of things, but I am a YouTuber. I work with my partner and we run a YouTube channel called Film Joy. It's about liking movies and saying nice things. Because not enough people say nice things on YouTube sometimes. I'm going to enter the lie portion of this. I was president between 2016 and 2020.
You did a bad job. You did a remarkably bad job.
I wasn't trying.
That was evident.
Obviously.
No, I guess a true thing is I used to work in video games. I worked Gearbox Software for 16 years. I wrote Borderlands. Perhaps that's a game you've heard of. And I'm the voice of Scooter, the best video game character ever made in the history of the world. Sorry, Mario. Sorry, Peach.
Everybody, if I consider Film Joy and the videos therein. I'm sorry, is it Film Joy now? I remember it as Movie with Mikey, but now Film Joy is the right thing to say?
So we have two shows. We have Movies with Mikey and Deep Dive, which is a panel show where people mail us terrible Blu-rays or movies they consider terrible. And then we have to watch them and say nice things about it, which can be hard sometimes.
But I have to say, Movies with Mikey is a fountain of joy in the world. I will often decide what movies I want to watch based on what movies Mikey has done a video about, because I need to watch the movie so that I can then watch his video, because I know I won't enjoy his video enough if I haven't seen the movie. And I don't want to spoil the video by not watching the movie first. That's my series of priorities there. It will be a good thing in your life if you go check that out.
Oh, thank you so much. YouTube.com/filmjoy. That's us.
Also, unseen, but not unseen entirely, we have our ghost artist, the fabulous Julia. And Julia, would you like to intro yourself?
Yeah, I do art most of the time. Actually, that's a lie. It's all the time. I don't know what else I would do. I do illustrations, paintings. You can find me on Twitter. Actually, any social media is just my first initial, last name. You can find right there. You can see my art. And if you hang out here on the stream, you've probably seen Pat show off some really cursed things I've done, but it's really fun. I love being here.
Oh boy. See, now I'm tempted. I don't have those put into this OBS overlay.
Nope, it's okay.
Yep. Julia.
We'll create new cursed things.
Yes,
yeah!
That's our goal today. Julia also helped me finally, after literal years of trying and failing, to create, years ago we made this very swank Aeolian mug, very cool, and it's big enough for beefy man hands like mine, and you could put a lot of coffee in it. And then I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do a mug from Anchors in the books too? And I tried for years, and I'm like, no, wrong. And then I did it with Julia. We finally designed that. And if you watch this little thing down here, you'll see it there. Or you can pop over into the Indiegogo. We're finally putting it into motion, and you can sort of pre-order it cheaper there than you'll eventually be able to order it in the store. And again, for charity. Great. Intros successful. Now I'm going to pass the talking stick. Is that, what's Lord of the Flies? Is it there's a shell of some sort?
The conch.
The conch, yeah.
I'm going to conch James here. I'm so glad you guys said the word, because I would have said cock. I would have said the talking cock. And I know that would have, yeah, but luckily I didn't say it.
Well, you did now.
No, that doesn't count. That
one's inadmissible, unfortunately.
Yeah, that one was a footnote. You'll note the asterisk next to what I said, what I would say.
No, I just checked the rules.
Yeah, he has the rules, folks. We're screwed.
My blank piece of
I mean, that's enough. And James, please take it away.
All right, everyone. Today we are going to be playing Avery Alder's The Quiet Year, a truly beautiful gem of a game designed by someone who I think is one of the greatest living game designers. We're playing a slightly modified version of it. So if you're out there and you just love the rules and you feel like you need to be the advocate of the rules in situations, maybe not necessary, because again, this is modified. We're doing things slightly different. But The Quiet Year is a game about a community after a collapse. This is a community in the wake of a terrible war that has like a short period of time, 1 year, to build itself back up and brace for a new challenge ahead. And we say quiet year, but things are not exactly quiet. There are going to be a lot of wild and interesting things that happen during this game. And there will be some very real challenges that we will invent for this. But we will play through this year and build up to this new challenge. And all of that is going to take place through people playing a role-playing game. If you are used to traditional games like Dungeons and Dragons, this is going to feel a little bit different. The players with me today are not going to be just representing traditional characters. Normally in an RPG or in many RPGs, you will play a single character and represent just that perspective. Here, we are representing a community. All of the players might cycle through a couple different characters. They will be sort of on the side of this community and pushing advances within this community and whatnot. And at the same time, they will be playing this game to add interesting challenges to their community and maybe introducing things that will make this community's life a lot harder. We're going to be living in a balance of those things, which is one of the reasons that The Quiet Year is such a special and remarkable game. Before we dive into all of that, and I explain how the game is played, we are going to check in with our safety mechanics. The primary safety mechanic that we're going to be engaging with today is the X card, or there's also a modified version of the X card called Let's Not. And what is the X card? What is Let's Not? Well, if anything comes up in play that we don't want to engage with for any reason, there is a mechanical element where we can say, ooh, let's X that, or hey, let's not do that. We address whatever material we might not want in the game, figure out a way to move forward doing something different than that, and just continue playing. The reason that we do this is manifold. There are lots of people who engage with things that is really just uncomfortable in our day-to-day life. There's also just, hey, I watched a movie last night that had a lot of vampires in it. I'm kind of vampired out today, so no vampires. The lower the bar, I think that we keep for the X card or saying, hey, let's not, the better. This is an accessibility tool, but the great thing about accessibility tools is they just make your life better. It is better to have sloped corners on sidewalks for literally everyone. So just the same, it is better to play a game when you don't have to engage with stuff that you don't care for. So just know at any point during play, if we're encountering something that we don't want to deal with, we can go, hey, let's X that, take it out of play, and then progress ourselves forward. So before I continue, is that clear to everyone? Does everybody jive with that rule and understand that rule? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, so let's dive into The Quiet Year. I am going to read this opening narration. For a long time, we were at war with the jackals. Now, finally, we've driven them off, and we're left with this, a year of relative peace. 1 quiet year, with which to build our community up and learn again how to work together. Come winter, the frost shepherds will arrive, and we will not survive the encounter. This is when the game will end, but we don't know that yet. What we know is that right now, in this moment, there's an opportunity to build something. So that's where we are and what we are. We are a community that has just survived a terrible war. We are left with lots of challenges ahead of us. And now we must build our environment. The first decision that we have to make as a group in The Quiet Year is figuring out where our community is. And the first decision can be very broad and general. It can be something like a forest, the cracked hull of a spaceship, at the bottom of the sea in a frozen waste. Really, the world's our oyster on this one. If there is something that moves you as a player, speak now, because we do need that decision to be made.
I was gonna say Kansas, so you shouldn't ask.
Ooh, Kansas!
It's
folks.
centrally located because
Kansas.
So landlocked and
is it's actually so. I have never done anything even approaching Kansas in one of these games, so it feels really transgressive. You know, exotic Kansas.
Welcome to exotic Kansas.
oh, there's some really interesting stuff with that.
My only experience of Kansas is driving through Kansas from Colorado to get to the East Coast. So I believe Kansas is sort of like a cartoon background in the Looney Tunes where you pass some scenery and then an hour later you pass the same scenery.
Yep.
It's accurate.
Oh, man. Okay. I'm here for it. Kansas it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Internet. I've already
All
screwed
right.
it
So
up.
we're starting from Kansas, which
Yes.
is...
Oh, we'll get to it, actually. Never mind, I'm going to save it.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to weird it up.
So yeah, now that we know that our general dictate for our environment is Kansas, the next thing we need to do is each add a detail to this scenery, to this landscape. Yes, definitely. Put us in the box.
Nobody puts me in the box. Now, actually, here, could I love Kansas. Oh, don't. You already brought down the thunder, Mikey. You can't suddenly, Can I say this, though? Mm-hmm. If we do this scale, if it is Kansas, that, then we are committing to hundreds of miles. Could we leave the border off? That's my initial request. I'm not saying isn't our scale, but I don't want.
Jennifer has an idea that may save us.
But
exactly.
I have an idea that may save us, which is if we're in Kansas, can we add Dorothy's house?
Oh shit. Okay. Yes.
Because then we can get out.
Oh,
and
boy.
have access to other worlds. We have a bridge to somewhere else.
Okay. And luckily, Oz is in the public domain, so we will not get our asses sued into oblivion by.
I didn't specify which Dorothy.
The Baum estate.
Oz.
To be fair, MGM does own the color green of the witch, so we have to be careful not to describe that green.
For real?
In the same, yeah, for real.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Julia, are you doing a Kansas? Here's all of Kansas, and then here is just stuff?
Yep.
Damn, Julia's great.
Also, my speciality is way too much knowledge about the Wizard of Oz. So
oh, okay.
This is really tapping me hard.
And I designed puzzles for a 10 play series about Oz, so I got to dig into the later books too. So yes. I'm here for this. I'm very excited. It was called the Kansas Collection.
What I believe happened with this, with Kansas, is that we started with a Kansas-sized Kansas, and those borders have been shrinking. So now we have a micro Kansas. This is a Kansas-shaped chunk of Kansas that is much smaller than original Kansas.
Actual size.
So we're dealing with a micro Kansas. I like that very much. Dorothy's house is one of the features that we have here. I would like let's get a couple more features of our Kansas.
The old mill.
The old mill. And I think, Julia, for a dictate on the old mill, I would like that to feel foreboding. There's something about the old mill that I always feel carries kind of a heavy.
Mm-hmm. It's on a hill, and it is both a windmill and it has a water wheel.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right.
I will get rid of the words too. I'm just trying to remember things.
Yeah. Yes. Of course. Yes.
Actually, and James, I did try this before, and you
I fought you.
You respected the game, and I respect that. However, what I would like to propose here is temporary words being allowable as Julia works through her draft.
Yes. As memory locuses. That is good.
And not as part of the map itself, but merely as a meta-narrative labeling device. I would like to have Kansas here, but it's not a word because it will be in scare quotes. It is referring to the concept of Kansas. This is Kansas.
This is not Kansas.
Julia, I love you.
What's that? I have to leave forever.
just for that, I think the last detail that I want to add is there is the Arkansas Rift, which is a kind of splinter in Kansas that is just a jut of Arkansas that was just sort of like driven through the state in the compression as the borders shrunk. There's just Kansas fractured, and then there's just like a strip in there of Arkansas.
Like the crack from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Arkansas Rift.
Rift.
Great. So we've got Dorothy's house. We've got the old mill. That's our general terrain. I think that's pretty good. I kind of feel like Dorothy's house is on one side of the rift, and the old mill is on the other. That's what feels right to me. But now with that, we are going to identify resources for our community. The thing is, when we identify a resource, it doesn't matter what it is we identify. We will know that is important to our community. Whatever we say there will become really essential to our community in a significant way. So you could say something like water that has like, okay, well, that's obviously essential. I understand why that's essential. But you could also say like collectible state spoons, like suddenly that will become really important to our community. If we don't have all of the spoons with all of the former states on them, will we not remember that part of our identity and cultural history? I don't know. When you say it, it becomes important. So I want everybody to identify one resource that is an important resource.
Commemorative collectible plates of American first ladies.
Ooh.
All right, First Lady's plates.
Mikey coming out strong.
I know what is worth money in the apocalypse.
Jennifer, how about you?
The plains of wheat.
Oh, wheat plains.
Hey James, I know that technically Julia is our artist and I don't want to put her on the spot. But I would love it if occasionally we could give Julia a turn, given that she apparently has like subject area expertise in Oz, and I can see her face, and I do not know if she is full of joy or terror. But you know what? Those are the same thing to me, which is probably a oh no, I learned something about my life.
That's indicative, Pat. That's indicative.
Oh no, this is what's wrong. But Julia, everyone, don't do this, but I know Julia well and we're friends. Julia, would you like to occasionally take a turn here and chime in?
With Oz stuff, I would love to.
Okay.
If that's cool with everyone.
Everybody.
Oh, please, Julia, please.
Julia knows me well enough that she could say no and not feel pressured there, but also still don't do what I did live during a performance. That is shitty. I get a demerit. So Julia, resource?
The ability of speech for animals, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say life dust.
Okay, no
You're
one
saying-
said water.
Is that a drug? Is that what is?
Oh, you're an Oz person. It's the dust of life. They put it on
Oh,
things in
okay.
the books.
Okay.
Come on. Now suddenly
Okay. Before we get into big timing someone on Oz, I'm shutting that line down right now.
Some of us are real Oz fans who know the lore. Oh no. I've become everything I hate. Also, I'm worried that I'm
Are
misremembering
you
it.
suddenly gonna get the curly mustache and start peeking out the door? And,
No, what I get is a fedora, and then I walk into the ocean forever. But isn't it called Life Dust? Did I remember it right? Isn't that?
I might be forgetting a
It's-
piece of.
It's not in the first book, but like they pulled.
If only we had a wonderful internet to check that on.
That's okay.
No,
That's what
nobody Google anything.
that's what the chat is for.
I get spotty on the later books, so it
Powder
could
of
totally be
life.
right.
Powder of life, or life powder, if we don't want to maybe get sued.
Breath gas.
Or we could call it powder life.
Powder life
just sort of like
biscuits.
powder milk.
Yep.
That sounds
we
like something that your aunt advertises on Facebook. Get Powder Life now.
Powder life. I love powder life so much better than what we might have started with. Has your family tried powder life?
See, and I'm hearing power thirst in my head.
Thirst.
Powder life.
Thirst. I want to be a resource too. Just in quotes, thirst.
Suck down some powder life. Yeah. I like this a lot. I especially like the ability of speech for animals because one of the great things about these resources that we've identified as important to our community is that some of them are scarce, or most of them are scarce, and one of them is there's a specific word that we are using.
Abundant?
For it. Abundant. Thank you. Yes. So one is abundant and the others are scarce. And I just love the idea of there being a scarcity of like animals can talk sometimes. Like I cannot wait to unpack whatever that means. So yes, now that we have these resources identified, I would love the group to identify which one of these is in abundance and the rest will be in scarcity.
I feel like powder life, TM, by the way, powder life is it can't be in abundance, I don't think. I mean, that would be a choice. We could lean into it, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Now, when we say wheat plains, it's not a plain. It's a
No. It's like the way that you look out around and all you see is this sea of wheat.
I already corrected someone's spelling. I'm so lame.
No. I think what it is it's plain wheat is the commodity. There's fancier wheat. Boy, we're just gonna have an endless rabbit hole of semantics.
I am happy. Also, I'll put it out there. I'm happy to change that to gemstone mines if we want to.
Gemstone mines. I mean,
Can we go with
based on
gemstone wheat and just sort of split the difference? The wheat grows as gems.
I'm here for it.
The
Let's make it
righteous
weird.
gemstone wheat.
I'm trying to
You
do
can
a
get gem lettuce. You can get gem wheat. Why not?
I'm trying to do a portmanteau of wheat and gem. And I cannot. Jeet is as close as I get, and that sounds
Jeet
very
and
bad.
Wem.
Wem.
They both got a bad mouthfeel, that's for sure.
And actually, you know what I love is gemstone wheat. Can I make a pitch? Gemstone wheat is because Monsanto tore through here as part of the apocalypse. I'd like to say they are at least a little bit associated with the jackals. But now the gemstone wheat is how they have branded the heirloom original wheat, right? That they are trying to now raise here. Does that feel good, or does talking about Monsanto make this too real?
No, we need a good villain.
In my head, I was almost picturing corn on the cob made of different gems.
Oh,
if that makes any sense.
No, I love that.
Visual.
The Oz stuff leaking through, we need a source for all the emeralds and rubies that are happening in the Oz.
Absolutely.
stuff.
That's so much better. I love that.
Excellent. Okay, so
just
once
weird.
again, I am going to redirect the
It's
group.
corn, but
as-
wheat was where I started, so I figured I'd stick to it.
well,
But someone in the
they
chat
like
said you
grow
could
in a
hear
similar shape. It
like
is an elongated thing
the
with seed
chimes,
pods.
the tinkling of the wheat
No,
as
like
it blows in the wind, and I'm like, that's cool.
I love
That's
it.
good.
I love it.
That's
That's
good.
awesome.
That's very magical, and Kansas needs to be zhuzhed up a little bit as a concept. So that's good.
Yeah, Kansas.
I'm gonna wrangle this herd of cats once more towards the task of deciding what's in abundance and what is in scarcity.
I think we should have all of the best plates, and we can barter with.
I think.
The first lady's plates are in abundance.
I think they're in abundance. I was going to say that too.
We have all. I actually don't know how many U.S. presidents there have been and/or first ladies off the top of my head. 47, 46.
I don't know how many of the presidents were bachelors. So
well, this happens in the future. This is all 100 first ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, there was 100 presidents. However, after polyamory became very acceptable for a while, and so there is
many more,
and there's all the variants and foils. So there's like so many different types of plates, and it's like an active barter commodity. But we have so many of them.
I forgot it was the future. I gendered the plates. My bad. I'll show myself out.
well, maybe it's only
that they only make
only the
for
plates
first
of the
ladies.
ladies are in are the commodity that's available in high quantities. Everything else is the higher value.
Right.
Everybody else are like, dude, plates.
The more I'm thinking about that,
Yeah, for a first gentleman saucer, come on.
Oh
can't
no!
extract cultural memories from that.
You know, the gentleman saucers was a competing currency that was just. It did not take off. It's the Bitcoin that has crashed in the past of the gentleman saucers.
I think,
so Bitcoin.
I think eating off of a first lady's plate allows us to keep the barrier, the perimeter that is Kansas. That if not enough people eat off these plates, then like Oz will encroach its borders a little bit more.
It's the tangible force of Americana, right?
Yeah.
Because these are all designed by in iteration of a clone Norman Rockwell, I'm assuming.
Yes. This is part of the Rockwell Collective.
Yeah. The Rockwell Collective sounds legitimately terrifying.
Oh, it's worse to behold. As bad as it is to say and contemplate, it's worse to behold.
I can see the brochures in my mind already.
Join the
Families
that's
at
perfect.
tables.
This is perfect. And I believe it is time for us to move on towards playing
The non-binary
actual
gravy
game.
boats complete the collection. Yes.
Oh, the non-binary gravy boats.
Yeah, man. In the
A
middle of
gender
the gender
apple course.
spectrum, the gravy boat is like the perfect apparatus to represent. This is good. Okay, so we are about to enter playing the actual game. The way the game is played is I will be drawing from decks of cards. There are different decks of cards according to the different seasons that exist. We will start in spring. We will head towards winter. On these cards, everybody will get a turn, and each turn represents a week of time. Generally, how this game is played is you play through 52 weeks. Because we are in a narrow time slot, we will not be playing all 52 weeks. But on your turn, I will hold up a card. It will have a event that I will read to you. You'll usually get to choose between two different events, and we will follow those events, whatever they may be. After that, you will get to decide whether you would like the community to discover something new, hold the discussion, or start a project. Discovering something new will maybe add something new to our map, add something new to our understanding of this universe that we're creating together. Starting a project will create an ongoing thing that the community is doing together, something that they are doing towards progressing towards the goal of preparing for frost shepherds or rebuilding the community from the war that they were just in. And finally, holding a discussion is kind of free form, where we check in with community members, where we'll actually be role playing different people in this community, saying what they think about something. All of this is like kind of nebulous, but that is how the storytelling works and what makes it so good. So I am going to get us started off by shuffling this deck. We're going to start with Jennifer, because Jennifer happens to be located graphically on the top of our roster of players. And Jennifer, your first card is the King of Spring, and you must choose. A young boy starts digging in the ground and discovers something unexpected. What is it? Or an old man confesses to past crimes and atrocities. What has he done?
I like the discovery angle, so I think we're going to go with the young boy digging in the ground and discovering something. I think he discovers a set of different masks, almost like commedia dell'arte masks, made of a wood that is not local to the area. It's partially kind of crystallized into amber, but it certainly is not a wood that people are necessarily familiar with in this region.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, this is not of Kansas. This is wood not of Kansas, wood not of Oz, wood not even of Arkansas. Where could this wood come from? I love it. Yeah, so there are these kind of deeply foreboding masks. I absolutely adore it. Now, Jennifer, you need to decide whether you would like to discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
Let's start a project.
What's our project going to be?
We are building an elevator in the rift.
Building an elevator in the rift.
To descend it down to.
Can I understand with everybody here, which means can we flesh it out together? Because I will admit the Arkansas Rift, where it's like I viewed it as like an incursion of Arkansas in there, or is it like a canyon or a chasm?
I was picturing it as an actual rift in the ground.
Okay.
But if it's really just an incursion, I'm happy to adjust.
Well, no. I like that. Could we have it be not only a canyon into the ground, but also can it be a rift up into the sky as well? And can we have it not be 90 degrees? I want it at a slant, and it looks like the Northern Lights.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, I do like it. I like the idea that it goes all the way down, it goes all the way up. So that patch of sky that you're looking into, that's the Arkansas sky. The ground that's there is the Arkansas ground. If you dig deep, that is the earth underneath Arkansas, which is strange and unnatural.
And I'll just say, Julia, I worry that I tied your hands by saying, by moving you away from having a map you can put things on. Do you want to make that bigger so you can put things on it? I don't want to keep you from doing that, because that was cool when you've done it always before.
No, you bet. I'll do my best. I mean, maybe I just have like this little map in the corner, but maybe when it comes to the rift, I'll kind of zoom in. And like you were saying, Dorothy's house is on one side, the mill is on the other. I'll kind of zoom in there, if that sounds about right. Or
even if you're drawing them like that, you can do little call outs to points on the mini map.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. You're way ahead of me.
Perfect. So building an elevator in the rift is good. Because I'm imagining they're just like, oh yeah, we're now digging into the ground that is Arkansas, that is in this rift. How long do you envision this project taking, Jennifer? You can choose between 1 and 6 weeks for all projects.
Probably will take about a month. So let's go with 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Okay.
I think if we're going with the rift going up, we'll build up as well. So it'll be bi-directional.
I love that it's a space elevator too. That's great.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, gotta
4
be.
weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
This is
Space
happening in
elevator,
the
4
far
weeks.
future.
That's true.
Well, though
4
we don't
weeks
know how far because we don't know the
post-war.
rate at which we shift presidents in the future. We might have snapped through the back 50
Switch to a
presidents pretty
parliamentarian system.
quickly. Because this project is going to take 4 weeks, it will essentially take 4 player turns, and I'll be ticking it down according to the rules of the game. But let's move forward to Pat. Pat, you must choose. You see a good omen, what is it? Or you see a bad omen, what is it?
Okay, in this Kansas, I feel like it is a good omen, but the omen is it looks, and I forget, Mikey, where do you live these days?
I'm still in Dallas.
Yeah, you're down there. Because in Wisconsin, there's a certain weather that happens during the summer because we get storms, and sometimes a storm rolls in, or it's dark, or whatever. It's windy, but then there's some times where you're like, it looks like this could be a storm, but the air is yellow, and it is very still and cloudy, and I'm like, oh, this screams tornado gonna get you. And it's not like in the movie where it's like there's wind and everyone's like, oh, tornadoes though. It's like, It's like things feel weird. Like my lizard brain is a little bit like, So that is the omen, is it feels like tornado weather. It's a little on the horizon, but it's a good omen. Because
is there like a wall cloud, like looking very ominously?
I don't even, it might be a little bit like that. But also, it's sort of like the tornado might come down. But generally speaking, when this weather comes, it is considered a good sign. Despite the fact that, like, actual tornadoes, I don't know why it would be a good sign. I'd be open to other ideas there.
Maybe because that opens the bridge to Oz, which allows trade.
Maybe
import, export.
Maybe, yeah. Like when that happens, it opens a little bit, or if something,
the border around Kansas is not just to Oz. The border around Kansas is a void, but when a tornado passes through, briefly there is a bridge to Oz.
Yeah, it's like if things get thin, and so this is our opportunity to it's not like, oh, every midsummer night, every full moon, but when the tornado comes, we are close to Oz. And that means we get to work with one of our more regular neighbors. Yeah, I dig that. Good omen.
This is like preparing for the oh, come on, words. Like the trade wagon coming to town.
Yeah.
And that weather you're describing, we get that with earthquakes too in LA. We get earthquake weather.
See, Tim Powers wrote a book called it, but it can't be weather, but it's a feeling, right?
Oh no, it's we call it earthquake weather. It's the weather gets almost humid, and it's usually hotter, and there's something you can feel in the air that and then a quake comes. It's within like 48 hours. It's very strange.
That is super wild.
I've lived here my whole life, and it's
that rules.
Bizarre. Well, it's awesome, but it's also kind of terrifying.
Oh no!
When it gets it is that the air turns yellow. You get this weird sun filtering that's very different than other times.
Oh, it looks like a television show where they're trying to be in the Middle East or Mexico.
Yeah, we get our filter.
Oh man. Now I want to talk to a meteorologist and a parapsychologist together and find out what the hell is up with this. Okay.
Oh, that's so
good,
Julia.
So now, Pat, you must decide whether you would like to hold the discussion, start a project, or make a discovery.
I think I'd like to start a project. I think the scarcity of powder life is distressing to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Now the community, of course, is, do we think effectively like a bunch of small, like farm claims? Like these are all a series of family farms scattered. And then we have like a little crossroads general store, bar, church, you know, like there's dry goods. Is there a wet goods store? Here I declare a wet goods store. There's dry goods and wet goods. Mm-hmm. And what that is, I don't know. But then there's the little church.
Yeah, the wet goods store has got like wet goods store in big letters and if you nasty.
Okay, you know what, James? There's now a dry goods store, a wet goods store, and a moist goods store.
The moist goods store is where they send people when they're in.
Go to your moist corner.
That's our carceral system.
But Mom, I don't want to go I want to go on an errand. If you're bad, then you have to pick things up from the moist goods store.
Moist goods store.
So
just kind of damp walking home.
It's the package.
I feel like
squelch.
my project
Which in
is
the
going to be
Kansas
like,
heat is just.
I'm going to dismantle the moist goods store. That's.
And maybe there was a little bit of local industry, or like, and not it wouldn't have been industry, but it would have been maybe it would have been the Powder Life factory. But maybe what's less than a factory, but more than like
a mill, perhaps, Pat?
No,
a Powder Life mill. We have an old mill.
Is it like an artisan shop kind of thing?
I would think it's more than like old man Crampston makes the Powder Life powder. Not more than that, but less than like a factory. I don't think it's the mill. The mill isn't quite the right feel. But like what's in between there? Like the Flemish people used to all make. Like
it's like a small brewery kind of thing, like
maybe,
like an artisanal community.
It was, and it started up, but then now and James, you said that there just endless void outside the border of Kansas.
Yeah, I think if you go to the border of Kansas, there is a beige void.
A beige void. So when trade was cut off, the what was necessary to keep producing the Powder Life, the demand dropped and they had to lay people off, and it just sort of fell into disrepair, or maybe they lost contact with Powder Life Central. And so I think the community is going to try to start, not the factory, the shop, the Powder Life.
What if it's a silo?
A silo, mine,
quarry, a Powder Life quarry.
Powder Life quarry sounds pretty good.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Like it is built in a quarry, but the process has always been secret. Nobody knows quite. Are they mining it? Are they making it with minerals? What up?
Yeah.
And so somebody's like, if only we had Powder Life again, things would be so much better. And so somebody's going to try, I don't know, to rediscover the formula for Powder Life.
Okay. Reverse engineer Powder Life is what I've got here. How long does this take?
They're really going to try to science it up. 5 weeks.
Okay. All right.
And this is, I will say this is old man Crampston. And he's like, I remember the days where the powder flowed like water.
Well, I reckon the powder must flow.
Yep, there we go.
Is the Powder Life manufactory?
Yeah, I think manufactory. Yeah, I like that term. And there is like machinery in there, but it's more like old printing presses and stuff. It's not like an assembly line. It's not like an industrial thing. It's like there are people in there with leather aprons, you know, and somebody has like a bathysphere, and you're like, what is it for, though?
Or foundry?
Foundry.
Foundry is good because it implies a lot of heat.
Yeah, I love foundry.
I don't know.
All right.
Find the word.
Yeah.
We will move on to the next card. This one goes to Mikey. Mikey, a cat. Oh, yeah, we got this in the last. Well, I'm sure it's fine. Mikey, you must decide whether a charismatic young girl convinces many to help her with an elaborate scheme. What is it? Who joins her endeavors and start a project to reflect, or a charismatic young girl tries to tempt many into sinful or dangerous activity. Why does she do this, and how does the community respond?
There's a young girl. I think she's like 8 or 9. She lives down by the. It's not really like a hotel, but like somewhere in between a motel and a hotel. And
boarding house.
There's a little pond down by her house. I forget her name. I'm so bad with names, but she has been trying to get everyone in the town to get on her little plan, which is turtles are the future, and she knows that we can talk to animals, so she wants to take us all down to the lake and have a little sit down with the turtles of Kansas Pond.
Okay, a summit with the turtles,
a summit with
adore.
The turtles.
Is this an elaborate scheme or sinful and dangerous behavior?
It's an elaborate scheme. She thinks it'll save all of our lives and help us find profitability again, and like, because I don't get the impression we're doing great in the in the Kansas hole.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put down Summit with the Turtles.
With the Turtles.
And I would like you to tell me how long you expect this to take.
She's been trying to convince us. This feels like 2 weeks tops to me. She's basically just going around handing out flyers. Turtles are great.
Oh my
Turtles
God.
know everything.
She drew each one of them. They're not reproduced. She makes each flyer.
Yeah. In marker.
Yeah.
They're kind of running out. They're kind of faded now. So the turtles are like slightly green.
All right. Perfect. And now you must decide whether you would like to discover something new, hold the discussion, or start a project.
I want to hold a discussion just to sort of get some bearings on where we're trying to go. Because you got me in survival mode.
Now for hold the discussion, you can choose between two options. You can either introduce a question to the community, at which point all like a host of community members representing each player will weigh in, and you will get the last word, or you can make a statement that will begin the discussion and someone else will close it out.
But I feel like both actually achieve what I want here, which is I don't feel like we have a future, because I want us all to live a happy life during the apocalypse and have a good quality of life. So maybe I just ask a question to the village. How do you want to improve our lives? Or
I think that's
good.
I want their feedback. I don't just want to build stuff.
Who wants to kick it off? James?
Yeah. What did you call him? Old man
Crampston.
Crampston, yeah. Old man Crampston toddles his way onto the stage. Well, I've been living about as long as anyone I expect would be living, and I'm a simple man. I spend my days farming and trying to reverse engineer the essence of life, powder life, through dark and mysterious means. I think this here is our apocalypse. We've won our wars. We've separated the borders of canvas from the world outside, and I reckon that's good enough for me and should be good enough for anyone. Once we return the nectar that is powder life, we can return to simpler ways. Sitting back and watching the beige encroach on all of our homes and lives.
Jesus. Oh, the good old days of encroachment.
All right. Who's next?
I'll jump in, and I'm going to just try this. As everyone who watches the stream knows, I have successfully done one character voice in my life. So, oh, that's bad.
No, it's perfect.
I'm trying to do Petaluna, who's the little girl, the turtle girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like, the thing is, oh, it's so bad. I hate it. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Just push through. Growth is pain.
Turtles, when, like, if we could talk to them, I had a dream, and turtles, they can be on the water, but also out of the water. And if they could talk, wouldn't that be... I mean, I had a dog once, but the dog didn't talk. And wouldn't it be nice if we just talked to turtles and they could talk to us? Because I went swimming with a turtle once, and it bit me.
Okay.
Petaluna.
That's it. Boom. Jennifer, Mikey, what do we got? Well, I guess Mikey goes last. So Jennifer.
Okay.
The question is, how shall we live? I believe.
Yes. The little boy who found the masks comes forward, and I think his name is Artie. And he sort of strolls to the middle of the stage, leaving a trail of muddy footprints in his wake, and says, "Well, I think we should just all kind of go outside a lot and see what's there, because there's lots of things to play with, and the sun is nice, and there's a lot we haven't seen yet."
Well stated. Well stated.
Now, do I end this as myself who asked the question, or am I picking a different townsperson?
No, this is just a community member weighing in. It can very well be the person who posed the question, if you like. There aren't a lot of hard and fast rules around that. The only thing is you do get the last word.
Okay, I am a 42-year-old man.
Whoa.
Named Chartreuse. And Chartreuse walks up and he's like, "Now look, I've lived in Kansas since before it was this garbage beige thing. I remember when we had real life out here. And you know what? We have all this gemstone wheat, and we are just letting it go to waste. Why don't we shuck the gemstone wheat, create an economy for ourselves, build an army to protect ourselves, because the beige is going to get us all. Enough time, the beige going to get you all. Thank you. I yield my time."
Perfect.
I love Shardy.
No.
All right. I think I will, just outside of the normal flow of the games, I would like to introduce a new discovery before we move on to the next week. And for me, I think we discover Smallville, Kansas, which has been shrinking at a proportional rate to the borders of Kansas. So now it is like a tiny city that must be kept in a glass dome, to protect its citizen from ants.
Hold on, it's citizen. It's singular citizen.
Yeah,
It's just Kal-El. That's the only one. Everybody else died.
Yeah. So it's Smallville, Kansas, which is our real world Smallville, Kansas, where the Superman Festival is held every year. Is still a thing that exists, but it is now very small because it is shrunk at a proportional rate to Kansas. And we can
It's the
see
world's smallest Superman festival.
Yes,
They're
yes,
still
and
waiting.
they're very proud.
Superman will save us yet.
You will not find a smaller Superman festival.
Is this our like? Because I'm imagining, if there is a town over there, then we are not currently the entirety of Kansas. Are we? Are they our? Oh hell! What's Springville? There's Springfield and who's
Shelbyville?
Are they our Shelbyville?
I think it's slightly different than Shelbyville, and I don't want to throw Shelbyville out of this post-apocalyptic Kansas mythos entirely, but like this is a city over which we have stewardship because the citizens are quite small.
Okay,
They're so vulnerable because they've shrunk.
Okay,
They've shrunk.
Okay.
Yeah, Springfield could very well be our Shelbyville. We could be the Shelbyville.
Oh no.
Great. So I have advanced our projects, and I'm going to move us into summer.
Oh wait, can Julia get a turn first?
Oh yeah. Let's do a turn for Julia.
Oh gosh.
No, you're good.
Is that too much pressure?
For the moment, just because I'm catching up visually, but maybe in the future.
Okay.
Ask me in summer.
Ask me next season.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you,
Currently
Julia.
taking commissions for summer.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna shuffle up our summer cards real quick, Jennifer. We're going to return to you, and I have drawn. You must choose. Summer is a time for production and tending the earth. Start a project related to food production. Or summer is a time for conquest and gathering of might. Start a project related to military readiness and conquest.
Oh gosh.
I'm up for you, Smallville.
Well, I mean, an army travels on its stomach regardless, so I think food is going to be the key here. So let's. I'm not sure if gemstone wheat is edible without substantial processing. Let's start creating essentially a power bar factory equivalent, a non-licensed, notably distinct, but sort of like compact, portable, emergency ration type food.
Might I suggest a powder bar?
Oh,
we can do a powder bar. I'm here for it.
And it is started by Old Man Crampston's longtime business rival. Oh boy. Is it just another crotchety old man in town who cannot stand him doing anything?
It's a crotchety old woman. It's his ex-wife.
Oh my gosh. Oh yes. Angeline?
Angeline, how long do you see this project taking?
3 weeks. We've done food factories before. We're used to, we know the basics of processing powder. We just don't know necessarily the details of what they do to make it powder life.
And also we don't know that we can make more powder life at this point, which right. I actually kind of like what this implies about her faith in her ex-husband is, oh, he'll figure it out. And I'm going to be ahead of him on starting the powder bar factory.
Right.
Yeah, that's very good.
Is this, I'm remembering my childhood, and like every year the women at the Burke Lutheran Church, because I did grow up in town of Burke, which is very Kansas despite being in Wisconsin, but in the basement they worked for months and they made lefse to sell as a fundraiser. So is this like big church basement energy? Like, is this like women getting together to do this? Like, to prepare this thing for the community, or?
I don't think so. I don't think it's quite such a I think this is almost more of a commercial enterprise, but also a recognition of potential future need based on past experiences.
Okay.
I think maybe during the war we had some issues with food supply, and this is like, what's the most, you know, what are the Twinkies we can make? What are the things that are going to outlast everything that everyone can very easily distribute? We can make in short order.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. I think that sort of is where I was going with it.
Oh no, I love that. Yeah.
That's good. All right. Now, Jennifer, would you like to discover something new, host a discussion, or start a project?
I'd like to discover something new.
Mm-hmm.
I think so it's only, how many weeks have passed? It's just the one, or are we?
So no, we're
going from spring to summer?
Week 4 right now.
We're week 4. So the elevator completes? Is that?
Elevator, as soon as you finish this turn,
as soon as this
we are going to,
Can the discovery be what they find at the bottom? Or?
Actually, you will define that next turn.
That's next turn. Okay. Let's go with what do I want to discover? I think that some of the plates are beginning to crack.
Oh, yeah.
For no reason that we know of yet. Not all of them, just some of them.
Just Barbara Bush. That's the only.
Now,
well, if we could afford to lose one, it was that one. But
we never had a Melania. Sorry, go on.
Is there? I love the idea that they're in abundance and they're a little barterable, but the fact that, like, you know, just raw barter only rarely works in a small community because the things have to have utility. And so, like, if we're viewing, like, these are the imprimatur, these like stamp Americana onto reality and maintain Kansas. Can it be, there was a book that I don't think anybody read but me. It was called Shades of Grey by Jasper Fforde. And it was set in this beautiful, hyper-realistic, not wild apocalypse future where people could only see one color. And everyone had, it was a weird dystopia, and everyone had their spoon. And having a spoon meant you, like, it was such a social status thing, and you would inherit them from your family, and like no other utensils were allowed. And so it sounds so silly, but it was not Douglas Adams. It felt like, oh my God, if only we had a spoon, because our family has to share. But so is this sort of like, are these plates, if you have some, you can trade them, but it's sort of like some people view having a nice car, you know?
I would like to actually add more urgency to the necessity of trade and say, you eat on these plates, they restore the Americana in the area, but you do need to cycle through all of the first ladies to like solidify. If one person is favoring one first lady too much, then that weakens their like hold on Americana. So these plates absolutely need to cycle.
And that means, like, if you only have one, you eat off that, but then it starts to degrade a lot faster, and which is starting to happen.
Yeah, so somebody like really, like, you got to move that Jackie Onassis plate at some point, because otherwise your border to Kansas is going to be weaker.
Okay. Now, does this discovery reduce this abundance to merely like, now we are okay for them?
I would like it to reduce the abundance. Yeah, erase the abundance. And it's not a scarcity, but
well, then do the shards of the plates become a resource?
That is an interesting question, and I think we'll save that for another turn because we turn the turns over and things start happening quite quickly as building an elevator in the rift resolves, as does Summit with the Turtles. The people who created those events to begin with will tell us how those events shake out. The thing to keep in mind is usually when events, when projects resolve, they are progress for the community. Now, it doesn't need to be progress that everybody agrees with or everybody finds desirable, but it is progress. But yeah, if you created these events, tell us how they shook out.
Had the elevator first and then turtles?
Yeah.
Sure. At the bottom of the rift, there is a cave system that leads out. It's a branching cave system. So I'll leave it alone.
And how does the elevator go up? We know how it goes down, but if there's this sort of cant-wise like field of northern lights coming out of this rift, is it just like a straight up, is this like an Upsy McElroy elevator that just moves all over? Is it on rails? Is it like
I kind of like the idea of like harnessing the flying broom technology.
So there are a bunch of brooms strapped to it.
Or just the technology that allowed brooms to fly was attached to that, and so it can.
What if, because the life powder in the books, if you sprinkled the original life powder on things in Oz, they literally came to life. So like a sawhorse became a horse that lived and spoke and was a character. What if the elevator was like that and it gained its own motive power, or there's a couple of them? Is that too cartoony?
I like it because I feel like there's a coin slot for compressed life powder that you have to like just insert a coin and it would be able to fly.
Oh, and that, yeah. And then it like comes to life and it's a living being, and then it moves around for a while until it runs out and then it dies again.
Oh, it dies every time. Yeah. For sure lives a unique life and dies every time. Yeah.
How do we feel about that, everybody? I think that's good story. Is it too macabre?
No.
It's quite dark.
And is that too far away from what you were aiming for, Jen?
Oh.
Well, I mean, the only thing I'll say is we already have sentient talking animals, but I think it's really cool. So okay. I'm here for it.
If it's cool, then let's lean in. I'm fine with a little bit of duplication.
Yeah, and creatures have different lengths of life, and sure, a coin can begin a new life cycle, and
I like that. The elevator is kind of like a mayfly, you know, it lives for just that brief period of time. It goes through its entire life cycle. That's good stuff. And there's something I'm just, as a child who grew up in the 90s with arcades, I'm so enamored with coin slots. So yeah, that's good. Let's talk about our summit with the turtles.
So Petaluna was supposed to give an update on this, and she did not show up. I heard from her mom that she's at home. The summit with the turtles did not go as planned. Apparently the turtles remember the war and they are not happy about it, and how their ecosystems keep getting upset. And this isn't just the turtles. Apparently also other animals who are communicating with the turtles are also upset about the war. So really, we just kind of have an animal problem right now, and we're not really sure what to do about it. And Petaluna is very, very sad about it.
Wow.
Bunny.
Yeah.
That's
Don't mess with turtles.
That's tough stuff.
It is. I think it's fixable, though. I think as a town, we can fix this problem. I'm a little worried. The turtles, they're not like they used to be.
Pat, you must choose to introduce a mystery at the edge of the map or An unattended situation becomes problematic and scary. What is it, and how does it go awry?
Okay, so I love that. I normally I would be all over the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like okay, no, you know what? I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do a mystery about something that's going awry. So effectively, there's the old stone mill. And it's sort of like out there. It's on the edge of town. It used to, it's been around. Honestly, probably everyone used to bring their wheat there. And I think it had a good enough mill wheel that it could grind white flour, which was a big deal. But also, I think it had the ability to do something with the gemstone wheat. Like a lot of non-essential things, it fell into disrepair. I think we also have to flesh out the war just a little bit, because like we know where we are in this world, but like, you know, let's take a quick minute. What were we fighting? What was this conflict? Was this Americana versus another place that was pressing in? Was this the rest of America? You know, and now we're isolated from them.
Something, Pat, that I feel like I learned from the Turtle Summit is the people living here might not necessarily remember the war. I think the only thing we remember is that we took Arkansas and left.
Oh, so we were like, this whole place was a conscientious objector.
Oh, that's kind of
Switzerland
cool.
We opted out. We're like, you know what? We don't want to choose sides, and we left. But in tearing Kansas free, we left the memory of that behind.
Yeah, because everything is beige. I think if you try to remember the war or life before Canvas was turned away, you remember beige, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Because you can't bring your biases with you, otherwise they will, you know.
Then we're not all part of the same thing, and that's this Americana. Right. No dissent in Americana. Although I want to pitch that as sinister, but man, no dissent fucking sounds like such a vacation, right?
How about consensus based on fact? Maybe is where we go with that.
Consensus based on fact is way better than like blind agreement. Did everyone who came here, is everyone that's here in a consenting way? Like they are like the entire town. Oh, that's what it is. The entire town voted. Mm-hmm. And everyone who said yes stayed, and everyone who said no left. And that's why the mill is now abandoned. That's why the Powder Life Cannery, I do think cannery is the right way to go. Also, that's the main thing they sold in the dry goods store. And also, I think Angeline has to either be wet goods, because like she started a competing business, and that's the powder bars are, you know, tackier, or maybe they're like a Go-Gurt. But everyone left who did not want to come. And so the community is in alignment about, we choose not to have this conflict or participate in any way.
I think I like this. The thing that I'll add, which this is going to be a little bit of an emotional prickle, is obviously the people who didn't vote or choose this are the children, you know, which is why the summit with the turtles is really the first time this little girl like encountered all of this, because the animals like didn't necessarily agree or vote to this.
Yeah, if the animals didn't get a vote either, that's wild.
So yeah, this little girl like kind of learned that like all of this went down from the first time from the animals, because the adults in her life didn't really see a need to present it to her.
May I throw one more thing in here?
Yeah.
So we know that the enemy were called the jackals, and we have sentient speaking animals as part of our world. I think there's something there as well.
Yeah.
That's relevant.
Yeah.
Okay, Pat, finally, you do need to make the decision still. We've fleshed out the world for you, but you must...
So it was a mystery or an unattended thing.
Becomes problematic and scary.
So what I'll say is an unattended thing is both the mill, which has just been sitting there, and it was also this tornado weather. Because typically what happened is it's like, ooh, it's time. They're coming close. Our trade partners, like, we're cut off from the world, but Oz is always here for us intermittently. But normally it's like we prepare a banquet, or like we get ready to greet them, and it's like then we have a good time, and there's ambassadors, but like
the Lollipop Guild, for instance.
Yeah. And so like we get ready for that, and we sort of set the stage, but everyone was kind of doing a different thing. And so like it keeps getting more and more tornado weather, but it never happens. Like it's like the storm never bursts. It's just more and more. And so increasingly, because at first it's like, yay, it's going to happen. But everyone assumes that somebody else is going to get ready, and everyone does their own stuff. So there's that. And simultaneously, the old mill, like at night, you see there is like sound and light, and the wind fins, the windmill part does turn, and the water wheel cranks, and there is sound and motion, but only at night and only dimly. And whenever anybody goes out to look at it, it is just the same thing. But then when you're not looking at it, there is a distant light coming from inside of it. It does sound like it's doing it. You catch it out of the corner, and then when you look, you're like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah. So, sort of like the idea of like Oz doesn't truly appear unless like a funnel cloud touches ground. Like,
yeah.
Otherwise, you just get that supercell that's like swirling clouds, but not quite actually touching.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the mystery, is what's up with the old mill. And how about this? We'll tie them together. Maybe there is like, it's gone where it's starting, the sky is moving in a way. Normally the tornado comes down right at the banquet you've laid out, but now instead the whole sky is starting to spin a little. And it's like, where will it ground out if we don't give it a place to ground out?
Yeah. All right, Pat, would you like to create a new project, discover something new, or host a discussion?
We start a new project, and the project is, how can we finally unlock Dorothy's house?
Unlock Dorothy's house. I like this. How long do you expect that to take?
Dorothy's house is equivalent. It is the equivalent of like the old Jameson place that like kids dare themselves. How close can you get to it?
Radley's house.
Yep. But what it is also is back when things were bad, and people weren't really sure, like back in the early times, when Oz started to come over and everyone was scared because it was like, this isn't what we do. What is this weird place? What is this weird stuff? You brought this on us. There was some real witch hunt stuff, and it was all that girl Dorothy's fault. And so, it's the town's sort of like secret shame that one night they finally did all band together, and they went out. I don't know how, but effectively there is like painted across the house. It does say "Surrender Dorothy," because they went to the house and they're like, send that girl out because she's ruining everything.
Wow.
Where does it go? Like, was it just some people and it's sort of rumored what happened that night? I mean, let's leave that open.
I like that being open.
Can I add the smallest wrinkle?
Yeah, please.
What if Dorothy is not legally allowed in this town to wear shoes because of the whole ruby slipper thing?
So Dorothy is still around.
Is she still around? It's way better if she's. It's way better if she's still. Oh my God!
I kind of want Dorothy to actually have rebranded as Angeline.
Oh my.
Ooh. Well,
the lore goes so deep.
How about this though? What if everyone knows like something bad happened? There was the night, and like it's sort of like tensions build, and then some night everything kind of crystallizes, and there's a bit of a mob. And at the time, it feels like everyone in the town is there and you're all doing this in agreement. But afterwards, you're like, was it really just 8 drunk men? And what really happened? Because a lot of people said they were there or they say they knew. But all you know is that the house, nobody lives in the house anymore. It is boarded up and the door is locked. And Dorothy doesn't live here anymore. And like her family was there for a while. What's painted over that is Dorothy doesn't live here anymore, but eventually they left. Eventually the rest of the family left. But maybe I like leaving up in the air. It's like, is Dorothy still around? We don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe trying to unlock her house. How long will that take, Pat?
Man, what is it that has kept people from doing it so far other than like cultural shame and bias?
I think it is locked, like in a way that is like almost metaphysical. Like you can't budge the windows open. If you throw rocks at the house, they will bounce off.
The house is alive because of powder life.
Powder life.
The house is alive, and it is the biggest thing that has ever been brought to life with life powder. Maybe
it's too stubborn to die too.
Yep.
I think I think in the tornado, powder life swirled, and so it came in contact with it.
I love that because nobody would deliberately waste that much, but like it was,
which means it had intention when it landed too.
Yeah. So the house is alive, and it is angry because its people were treated badly.
So we're trying to open this house. I just need a number between 1 and 6
4 weeks. Now. Because this is now a diplomatic mission. You do not show up with a crowbar.
Yeah. Diplomacy, famously not very well done with crowbars. Okay. This is good. This is extremely good and cool. I am going to tick down our projects here, all of our ongoing projects. Now we move on to Mikey. Mikey, you must choose. Outsiders arrive in the area. Why are they a threat? How are they vulnerable? Or outsiders arrive in the area. How many? How are they greeted?
How many? How are they greeted, please?
Okay.
Is what I choose. Then I would choose a number and how we greet them.
Yeah. So outside, like, you have control of this. So
yeah. It turns out that our pigeons can talk, so we greet them with a chorus of pigeons who are all singing "God Save the Queen." They're not great at knowing Americana because they're pigeons. But that's how we greet these outsiders. There's like 20 or 30 of them. It's not a small group that just kind of wandered into our area asking if we've heard the good news.
So what are they, like Anglophile pigeons that are like, hey, you've got all this Americana, how about God Save the Queen though? What if we got really Shakespeare? It was
10 minutes before the presentation where we greeted the outsiders. The pigeons were like, do we all know the same song? And the only song that all of them knew was God Save the Queen.
I love that.
Because they're all Sex Pistols fans for some reason. But It's very, very odd. A lot nicer than the turtles, these pigeons, I have to say.
Who are the outsiders? Like, are they traders or?
They don't have much money or food. They don't even have a totality of shoes. A lot. They really seem to be lacking necessities to survive, and they show up in the town and they're like, we have survived the beige, the endless beige. We have finally found.
Okay, so now they're sounding French.
Are they refugees?
They don't like to use the word refugee, but all of us kind of have like a hint, like there's something they're not telling us about what they fled from or what's going on. Basically, they're out of food and they can't defend themselves. So they just headed in a direction through the beige and they found us.
Okay.
All right.
I love that.
All right.
We need a group name for them. The Marbleites.
The Marbleites.
Yeah, they have a lot of like really expensive marble figurines. That's like the only thing they own. So we all just started calling them the Marbleites.
Were they collecting like the cherished memories kind of figurines, or they're
actually all Grecian gods. We were actually asking if they had like any spoons of any kind because we need some more spoons, and they were like, "What about Atlas?"
Always need more spoons. Always.
Yeah, more spoons. Yeah. More spoons.
Okay. This is good. We are coming up on the halfway point, the transition between summer and autumn, and I think we'll do a bio break there. But do we want to, Julia, would you like to take your turn now, or we'll all hit a bio break? We'll come back with a turn for you, and then continue.
Sounds wonderful.
Let's do the bio break here. And Pat, if you're feeling like you don't need a break, this is a perfect charity hawking time.
I will now hustle for the charity. So feel free to wander off, everybody. Take a moment, take a breath, get a drink of water. Not you in the chat. Stay here and listen to me talk to you about charity. Hi, my name's Pat Rothfuss, and let me see. Can I actually change this? Nope, not that. This? Hey, everybody. My name's Pat Rothfuss, and I am going to talk to you briefly about a charity that I run. It is called Heifer International. And oh my God, I'm so scattered. My name is Pat Rothfuss, and I do not run Heifer International. I accidentally started a charity that we call Worldbuilders, where we have, hey Google, show me where it hurts, bing, worldbuilders.org. We do a charity where we help rally the geek community and do good things in the world, because generally speaking, geeks are intelligent, kind-hearted, empathetic individuals, and it's hard to be that in the world today because you want to change the world, you want to make things better. However, you also know that a lot of charities maybe are scams, or maybe they aren't great at their jobs and you're busy and the world's on fire, and then you think, I'd love to put some money towards a good cause, but what if I'm being taken advantage of and I don't have 6 hours to go down a deep rabbit hole to really do investigative journalism into how to help? Well, that's what we do. We vet charities very carefully, and we are trying to get you the biggest bang for your buck in terms of charity dollars. So over the last 10 years, we've raised about $15 million to raise money for all sorts of big sustainable charitable causes, most notably Heifer International. We've given them more than $10 million. I think we might have crested over the top of 11 million recently. And we've also helped with Syrian refugees. We've also helped with literacy. We helped with, when COVID started, we helped get protective equipment into hospitals and marginalized communities. We've done hurricane relief in Puerto Rico. And so but also running a charity and making it sustainable means we want to pay our people, and we want them to have good lives too, because I kind of want this to be an organization that practices what it preaches, not only doing good in the world, but being good to the people who help the charity. So that means, like, if we have somebody do art, like the fabulous Julia, we want to pay them so that they can eat food and have a mortgage and health insurance. If we partner with somebody to help, like, produce a t-shirt, we want them to get money for the t-shirt that they're making with us. For all of the people that ship out packages, we don't want that to be exclusively volunteer labor or people that are doing it in unpaid internships. So we hire people at a living wage with benefits so they can have a good life. And that takes money. And so what we're doing right now is something called Geeks Doing Good. It's an attempt to raise awareness of the fact that World Builders, in addition to, now I'll go over here, in addition to being doing a big charity fundraiser every year, we also have, for example, what about World Builders Market? We have an online store where we sell books and merch, and we have jewelry and cool stuff from various people, and D&D and coins and cards and posters and Jim Butcher stuff. We have all this stuff in the store, but not a lot of people know about it. And so once a year, we try out some new products and we try out some new partnerships and we try to raise awareness, and we do this. Over here in Indiegogo, we have some stuff that you can give a try. Want to buy talent pipes? Go ahead. Here's a cool book by Preeti Cheeber, just came out, Spider-Man Social Dilemma. Skyjack's bandanas. Ooh, here's the beautiful Anchors mug. You can buy it cheap if you buy it now. We're just coming out with this after years of development. Books. Or, you know, if you've got enough stuff and you're trying to free yourself from the shackles of, you know, consumerism, then you could just give us some money. You know, just put $42 in here. You're like, I know what 42 is, the good number joke. And you're like, I get it. Also, here's some money. Please don't clutter up my apartment. I love books, but please don't send me a book. We also have just a bunch of stuff here. Ooh, also here, you can buy The Quiet Year, the game we're playing right now. You can buy the physical game, and some of the money goes to the people that make The Quiet Year to reward them for this beautiful game. But also, the extra money goes, and then we do a charity with it. And we make fundraisers, and then kids get food, and refugees get help, and the world gets better, and you get to be a part of that. So, if that sounds like a good time, then jump on in. Here's some books from James. Here's, like I mentioned before, here's Candlekeep Mysteries with some of the exclusive World Builders D&D cards that Jen wrote a part of. You know, here's my book, and I'll put words in it. And so just like, come on in. Oh, yeah, we've got, just look around. There's stuff here. You know how it works. You've been on the internet. There's things on the internet. And if you buy them, it's also a charity and you get a cool thing. And then most importantly, you get that good feeling where you're like, I helped. I made the world a better place. And that's the real thing we're selling, is the ability to do some good in the world. And that's a hard feeling to find these days. Okay, the end. Now I'm going to come back here to boop. Yay, I didn't screw up the overlay.
All right. We love that. We love to avoid technical difficulties. So I'm going to turn to Julia. Julia, would you like to do a summer card or kick off fall for us? What you feeling?
Ooh, I think I'm gonna kick off fall.
Let's do it. I am drawing this card. Okay. You must choose. A project just isn't working out as expected. Radically change the nature of this project. Don't modify the project die. When it resolves, you'll be responsible for telling the community how it went. Or something goes foul and supplies are ruined. Add a new scarcity. To help you make your decision, I'll let you know our current active projects are Unlicensed Powder Bar Factory, Unlock Dorothy's House, Reverse Engineer Powder Life.
Ooh, I think it's too tempting to say that Dorothy's house goes wrong. Like, the sentience of it really kicks up when they try to break in, and that's how it goes wrong. And maybe they learn something new in the process about the house that they didn't know before when they were vandalizing it.
Excellent. You have 3 weeks with which to stew on exactly how you think this goes wrong or this changes things. The thing is, you're radically altering the project. So what you're saying is, at first we were just trying to unlock Dorothy's house, but when we do, we realize, it's just so much more sapient than we thought before.
Yep.
Cool. I will let you think of that conclusion. In the meantime, would you like to discover something new? Would you like to host a discussion or start a project?
I kind of want to start. I want to start a project that has to do with the rift somehow. How can we, there's this great, beautiful, colorful bridge, basically, and we have all this beige encroaching. Is there a way that we can harness that in order to drive out the beige, or at least keep it at bay?
Ooh, like some sort of technicolor barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a yellow brick road of some sort.
Yep, that's it, Jen. That's it.
Forge a yellow brick road is good.
Or an Aurora brick road in this case.
Yeah.
Build a yellow brick wall. Let's do the worst possible version of that.
Pat, this was magical.
You had to go and make it. Ouch.
Yellow brick wall has a ring, though. I gotta be honest.
Oh yeah, so that's my curse and my superpower. Is I'll come up with the worst idea, but it does sound oddly appealing.
There will be a sign.
Build the yellow brick wall is already trending on Twitter.
Oh no!
There will be a sign next to it that says "Constructed in Technicolor," though.
Yes, that's very good.
Oh,
that's very good. Julia, how long does this project last, or need?
I think in order to make the technology, in order to harness that, plus constructing it, it's got to be maybe 5 weeks.
5 weeks. All right. I've put 5 weeks down on the map. We are gonna tick our projects down. 2 of them will resolve.
I'm sorry. In the chat, somebody said, "And the Frost Shepherds are gonna pay for that wall."
God.
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay. So we have finished reverse engineering Powder Life and the unlicensed Powder Life Bar Factory
At the same time. They have competing launch parties.
Okay. So reverse engineer Powder Life. Whose project was this?
That one's mine. And the other one's yours, Jen, right?
Yes, the other one's mine.
So I'm going to go first. And then Angeline gets to absolutely one up or trump or ruin every part of his plan. So it's Old Man Crampston, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think what happened is he teamed up because Old Man Crampston, James established, is a farmer. Mm-hmm. He teamed up with the town apothecary, Little Foggy, and he like wears sort of that headband with those little, oh boy, like all those lenses that come down, because he's where you go to buy medicine or medicine. I've used so many non-ironic finger quotes today and it feels so bad. And so what they have is they have thrown open the doors of the cannery and they put up a banner that says, "Yes, we can." And the problem is, of course, this is out past the edge of town and down in a quarry. But they've put on kind of a spread, and they have little sachets of the new and improved Powder Life TM. And they have and they have the big demonstration. So I will say this, I think people do show up because like it's everyone knows this has been going for a long time, but also people remember having the Powder Life, and it was that you can if you sprinkle it on something, it will come to life permanently, you know? And so it's like, oh, we could put it on the thresher. We could put it on whatever. It's like, this is going to improve everything so much. And the promise...
Nothing better than a sentient thresher.
What could go wrong? And so the promise of a free little sachet of Powder Life, and everybody gets one Powder Life elevator token. That the promise of that, it actually does bring people out. But then before they you know, they do it, so Lil Foggy comes out, he says, "I say, everyone, I say that welcome so much. When my friend Gentleman Crampston came to me and he said that he wanted help, fellow Kansasians, I pledged my support, my financial help, my considerable intellect to this cause, and we have achieved it. And let me show." And he whips off. There's he like whips the sheet off this thing that's up on the stage. This is very 1940s Dust Bowl political, like somebody's trying to get elected. But what's under the sheet? Like what is he going to bring to life as a demonstration here? What is a good hustle for him to have? I mean, Sawhorse has been done.
My brain is saying he unveils the elevator vehicle, just because I think a sentient elevator would be funny.
You know, well, the sentient elevator, like, people are like, I think that became a thing, and everyone's like, "Here, we did it. Now all you have to do is put some Powder Life in there." And they're like, "We don't have any." So like a couple rich people used it once or twice, but it hasn't seen a lot of whatever. But I like, what if it is a trolley? Like something for the town? It's like a living, like is trolley, it doesn't feel Kansas to me. Oh, it's a Surrey with a fringe on top. Sorry, I know that's Oklahoma, but now
you're slightly north, but not too.
The wheels are yellow, the upholstery's brown.
Thank you. Surrey with the fringe, and so it's like he pulls the cover off, and it's this beautiful. Like, and honestly, it's a little over the top. It's a little Baroque. There's a little too much gilt. It's a little like flourishy. You know, they got too fancy with it.
Instead of horses, it has bicycles.
Yes. Instead of horses, it has sawhorses, because it's going to be under its own power. Like, well,
I was thinking animated bicycles.
Absolutely. So it has the animated bicycles in front, and
animated tandem bicycles.
Oh my God, yes. And
The only one who can ride a tandem bicycle is God. Apparently, in this.
And then he takes a handful and he has like this big old sack of powder life. And he's like, and again, like for as long as anyone can remember, this is so scarce. But he dips his hand in this bag and takes out like a fistful. And he's just like, whoosh. And it shimmers in the thing like, and that it succeeds. It's good. And the thing is, the thing kind of like trots around and nothing goes wrong there. Like that's what everyone is almost showing up to see, is like, we want to see the train wreck that is this happening, but it doesn't. It goes through and it gives all the kids ride on it, and it's good. And it does sing the song, the Surrey song from Oklahoma. It's similar to, but legally distinct from, so we don't get sued.
Well, instead of Oklahoma, they just say Kansas.
Oklahoma.
Kansas, Oklahoma.
Kansas, Oklahoma.
Where the turtles talk.
Where the wind comes whistling through the gem wheat.
And so what I say is they do give out, and everything's great. And there's a buffet and everyone's happy. And they have a barrel of whiskey and where it goes. And he's like, and you'll note underneath your seats is your free sachet of Powder Life. Remember, Powder Life, it gives people the will to do what needs to be done. Enjoy yourselves.
Everything the will to do.
Everything the will for what needs to be done. And that's where things start to go wrong, because it's under every seat and people brought their kids. And so suddenly every kid has they're like, I'm going to bring this to life. I'm going to bring a shoe to life. I'm going to bring my dress to life.
I'm going to bring my toilet to life. Wait, no. Why?
Wait, no.
That's bad.
And so it goes wrong there a little bit, but it proceeds to go wrong in the town.
I would like to actually at this point turn things over to Jennifer, because we have at the same time the Powder Bar Factory is unveiling at the same time as this chaos.
So I think Angeline steps up and unveils this massive stockpile of powder bars. But in that unveiling, there is an animated serving tray that has been kind of floating around, and she calls it forward, and she reaches into her bag and she pulls out a small vial of liquid, and it's a shimmering, sort of shifting iridescent liquid, and she pulls off the top, and there's an eyedropper, and she just drops a drop onto the serving tray, which then clatters to the ground inanimate. And what has happened is, in the processing, that she has discovered basically the antithesis to Powder Life, but she's discovered the liquid. but specifically, you can unanimate animated things. So that now exists in the world as well.
Wow.
Neutralization.
Wow. But what is it? What is it called?
I mean, liquid death does fit the model.
Because then I'm getting a definite Granny Weatherwax cackler vibe off her. Or is it called Sweet Peace?
I don't think it's malicious. I think this is almost a protective mechanism from the attacks should things go wrong.
And I think what that is, what it is people showing up, and like it's obvious, like some people are limping because somebody was like, I'm going to do it to a chair, and the chair just runs and knock people. And so she's like, oh, also, yes, we did our thing, but did you know?
I think it's Wellspring.
Wellspring. That's such good branding.
From the still wellspring.
From the still wellspring.
Dang.
Yeah. So that's what's happening across town.
I love it. I
adore this. This is ludicrous. I am going to add some
weird.
I'm going to add some urgency to these next cards for time's sake as we churn through autumn. Jennifer, this goes to you. You must choose.
Did we skip?
Here.
Did we skip Mikey? Did we miss
No.
Mikey out? Okay, I'm sorry. I
No,
can't
we did
remember.
not. So we did Mikey, and then when we came back from the break, we did Julia,
right,
and then these
right,
two things
okay.
have resolved. We are going to Jennifer. You must choose. Harvest is here and plentiful. Add an abundance. Or cold autumn winds drive out your enemies. Remove a threatening force from the map and area.
Oh, I do think Powder Life is now in abundance.
Oh yeah. That does make sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for that. That works. And then for my action on my turn, I would like to host a discussion about the idea of neutralizing the house as a possibility. I would like the town to discuss. And I would like someone else. I'll go last on that.
So what's the specific question? Because I think if you phrase it as a question.
Should we use Wellspring to neutralize the living house, which has turned a bit aggressive, and we need to get into it?
Okay. So is this happening? I always think of like town square, like people can go up and stand at the podium because voice their opinions. So, hey, it's a big golden retriever. It's like, hey, I'm Doug. Hey, I'm a good boy, right?
A lot of hoots and hollers from the audience.
Yeah, Doug.
Doug!
And
Doug!
And hey, like the house, right? Like, oh, no. I don't like that house. I don't go by that house. I'm a good boy. I don't go by the house. Don't go by the house. Be a good boy. And then Doug just runs out and is just sort of like running through the crowd through the rest of the talk, and just letting people pet him.
Well, now I might just be a simple farmer who's turned into the keeper of the grist mill that churns out the very powders of life by which our community runs. But growing up, my pappy always said, son, if you can raise a house to sapience, that's a good thing. We are the masters of life. We are not the lords of death. Therefore, the house must live, vengeful and hateful as it may be. Of course, I say that because I believe in simpler times.
Okay, hey, my name is Mercutio, and I'm following the dog and the loony guy. I think we should get rid of this house. I think it's dangerous. I think we should absolutely take away its magical qualities. I think Dorothy was a curse upon Kansas, and the last thing we have remaining is this dumb house. I say we take it down.
You suck! I'm sorry. I just have to do that once in every game because there's always that one fucking guy who shouts it out of a crowd at some point.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Well, it was
Mercutio
that
should
or
observe.
excuse me, Mercutio had the floor. I think this is very rude. Whatever. Get rid of the house or get rid of me. I don't care. See ya.
Get rid of the house or get rid of me. Good.
And finally, an older person wearing a vest and sort of more formal high-waisted pants, using a cane, comes up to the podium. They say, well, I am the town's premier manufacturer of balloons and weather vanes, and I think that house poses a grave threat to our community, but it also could be for use defensively. And should we need to leave, I certainly can supply some alternatives to sticking around. So I say, live and let live. Let houses live, I suppose.
All right. We will move on to our next autumn card as all of our projects continue to tick down. This one goes to Pat. Pat, you must choose. Someone leaves the community after issuing a dire warning. Who and what was the warning? Or someone issues a dire warning and the community leaps into action to avoid disaster. What is the warning?
Julia, did you want to do the thing you just put in our chat?
No, I was kind of messing around, but
okay,
it was a thought.
Are you sure?
Hold on, what is it?
Oh, it's good.
It's a really good.
Oh my God, it's so good. Do you want to do it, Julia?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it was just too good to let go.
That's too good to leave on the table. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Julia. James, do you want that? Or Julie, do you want to try to do it?
I mean, I would leave it up to James. I'm not sure.
I do think I have an idea. So people have said their piece at this meeting, and then suddenly spinning from the sky, there is no wind.
Of course.
And I really do need to point out that there is no wind. And I think this is happening inside a town hall. So crashing through the ceiling, windlessly crashing through the ceiling as it spins and rotates, the house settles on the stage. And it does not speak. I think that is very important. But instead, the lights inside the house turn on, lighting up the theater. And there is just a menacing energy that fills the air before the house once again starts spinning and leaves through the hole with which it entered.
Can I throw a little sauce on that? When the lights come up, it is a green eldritch light from inside. It is not lamplight. It's the opposite of that. And I know what you're thinking, copyright holders of the specific green.
3 shades off of the green.
You're not going to get us on that.
I will
and
use
it's not the one that Mac holds the patent on either.
Yes, it is a very distinctly different green I'm about to paint in.
And also, Amish Kapoor cannot use this green. We're just that's there too.
But one of the silhouettes is the silhouette of it looks like the silhouette of a young girl in a gingham dress. How do you know it's gingham even though it's a silhouette? Well, that's the nature of eldritch light, folks. If you grew up in
Kansas, you'd know. You'd recognize the silhouette and go, that's gingham for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It is a horrifying gingham light shines through these windows, and before it then ascends back out.
Sort of like flickers across almost in an iridescence of a gingham pattern. And then
the house beautiful. Also dabs somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the windows,
it's like
the
gables.
Goes down a little.
The gables go like this.
Oh, good. All right, Pat. I'm going to throw you right back into it. Someone leaves the community after issuing a dire warning, or somebody issues a dire warning, and the community leaps into action and starts a project related to it.
Okay. I think, how about this? Right after that, Doug climbs up on top of the shattered massive stage, right? Mm-hmm. And somehow, because there's screaming and and there's just 3 minutes of chaos. And then when everything kind of quiets down, there's Doug, and Doug's like, bark, 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 from up on top of what's left of the podium. And you see he now has a placard attached, someone has or maybe Doug did it himself, but it says, the end is nigh. And then he can't wear a fucking sandwich board because he's a dog. How does it work? Somehow there are 2 sides to this, and on the front it says the end is nigh, and on the back it says we have been bad boys. And he's like, oh no, I'm Doug. I'm Doug. Oh no, I thought I was a good boy, but the house. Oh no, we have to go find the house. I'm going to go find the house. Everyone, we find the house. And then he runs out. And by the time people come outside, they can't see him anymore. Surrender, Doug.
Wow. Okay. Pat, would you like to host a discussion, discover something new, or start a project?
Podiums of scarcity. I love you. I have to say, Petaluna, does Petaluna take her coin and start an expedition into the caves?
That sounds like a Petaluna move to me.
Yeah, she's like, she's
good.
So disenchanted with all of her turtle dreams. And when you're a child, you're like, my heart was broke once, but now I will find a new friend.
Petaluna drew that, by the way.
Oh.
It was a nice girl, and she was sad because they're not nice.
Yep. And so Petaluna is like, I will find real friends closer to the center of the earth, because that is where my heart feels like it is.
Do we expect this to take?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Excellent. I've written down Petaluna goes spelunking. Ticking things down, we finish up unlocking the house, and I believe Julia has taken over this. So this project has obviously radically changed. Julia, would you mind telling us how it resolves?
So I think they go in there, and oddly enough, like they don't find anything, which they were hoping to find something and they don't, but they still keep thinking that they see glimpses of a girl in a gingham dress. And then they go to look at it in the same way that we were saying about the old mill, that like it starts moving and then it's not. It's a little spooky.
Can I throw in, they show up finally, and the doors are open and the shutters are open and the windows are unbarred, and they go in and it's utterly empty. Like not even dust, no furniture, no nothing in there. And they go through and explore it. But if you've ever been in like an old house that they built onto it, it doesn't fit together quite right. And there's a weird window and 3 steps that go down. You go in and it's like, you turn a corner and then you're like, this is a closet. Oh, wait, it's a little room and hallway. And you're like, it's weirdly maze-like in there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go on forever, but everyone who goes in initially, they see some stuff and it is uncanny and it's like, oh, was that? And then they're like, there shouldn't be this much hallway, even a weird tiny turny one. I'm fucking out.
Yep.
I have one thing to add, which is one of the people brought Wellspring with them. And when they got there, they decided not to use it. But at some point, they trip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think that Jennifer, I kind of feel like that should happen early on, maybe even the first thing.
I think that's how maybe you can open the house was.
Ooh.
I think the house is dead on the inside and alive on the outside.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, I love that. And so
yeah,
they do get in. The person is like, just in case, and so all of the light goes out. And so moving through this extremely empty thing, but all these little broken, small, weird hallways, it's bones. You're inside this hollow, rotten, creaking. Oh, that's so good.
Yep.
Yeah. Horrifying. Truly, truly horrifying. Okay. We now move on to Mikey. Mikey, there's no choice on this one. A project finishes early. Which one and why? The two projects that we have on the table are Forge a Yellow Brick Road and Petaluna Goes Spelunking.
Oh. Allergies, man.
Gazoo.
I want to give Petaluna a prize.
Okay.
Because the turtles really messed up her life. I can put on glasses. I don't know why everyone's looking at me. So Petaluna's gonna finish spelunking early.
All right.
Is this a what did she find type situation?
Yeah, so you are now resolving this. So you tell us, what are the results of her finishing spelunking early? Why did she finish early? What's going on?
Oh man, I picked the hardest one. Oh no.
So to remind you, I think the thing was she was taking the elevator into the cave system that are in the Arkansas Rift. If that adds anything to help.
And also in the rift is where they found the masks, if that helps too.
It could also be a turtles all the way down situation, I'm just saying.
My brain broke so much when you said that. Oh, Jennifer, go. Jennifer, go.
No, this is big world building. But what if Kansas is one segment on a turtle shell?
Oh, she found a really gigantic turtle shell down there.
Like we're living on a giant turtle.
I love that.
Like a Kipling style.
Now the question is, was that turtle nice to Petaluna? Because she's been having a rough turtle.
I don't know.
Few months. Rough
and
turtle
I'm not
summer.
sure what the tunnels are and stuff then, but
what if she goes down and she's exploring and then she's like, it's dark here, but I'm sulking and I'm going to pretend I don't care. And she sits down and instead of a cave floor, she touches it and it feels like turtle shell. And even in the dark, she knows that feeling and she feels comforted. And then she sort of walks out and then she sees like the Pratchett-esque, the turtle, or she has like a moment of communion with this turtle.
So Petaluna gets on stage. She gets the microphone. The very first thing she says is, I can feel the earth breathing. And she's very scared at the beginning, but she goes through the whole thing about she found a turtle down there. I like this. It's strong.
This feels like we have transitioned actually perfectly into hosting a discussion. Where she found the turtle and she started a discussion, and the opening line of the discussion is, as Mikey has pointed out, is, I can feel the earth breathing.
Yeah. I'm here for that.
Well, I'm not but a simple farmer, and the hand that holds the powder which draws life into every inanimate thing. And I grew up in a simpler time. I grew up in the gemstone fields of Kansas. And my father told me the earth is dead and always has been, and it should stay dead. I say we feed Wellspring to the turtle at the center of the earth and finally lay it to rest.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Jeez.
I go last, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Mikey, technically you opened with a statement, which is, I can feel.
Okay, yeah.
So you've gone first. So
okay,
we just have to get through Jennifer, Pat, and if Julia wants to add something in, Julia is also welcome.
I think one of the who is this person? I want to say they're a librarian. That's what I think they are. Comes forward and says, "This being is a trove of memory beyond time recorded. But what we don't know is if they can communicate with us. I think we need to create a force of individuals to try and discover whether or not we have a way to communicate with this being and learn from their wisdom and experience.
What was Chartreuse's deal? Because, like, he was... I remember he had a very distinct personality, but what was he... What did he do?
I don't know if we ever talked about that.
Do you remember the voice you did? Because it was so good. I could absolutely see him after that voice.
Chartreuse, the country guy, the Kansas country.
I think
he was like a little,
they're
a
kind
little
of like
rough.
this. Hello, Chartreuse, man. Yeah, what's going on?
Right. Yeah, he was a little good old boy, but like respectable good old boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you give me that voice again one more time, Mikey?
Oh yeah, just kind of hang out right here. Just a little draw.
Okay.
Back of the throat action.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, everybody, this is Chartreuse. Please, it is Chartreuse. And I can't help but feel that it would not be properly neighborly if everything we see and know rests on the back of a giant turtle. It seems like to lead out with oblivion is not kind. I propose perhaps some manner of hot dish project. If we could bring some manner of hot dish to this turtle, I am speaking conceptually, of course, to metaphorical hot dish. I mean, oblivion could always be a second choice. It's just my thought. I cede my time.
Excellent. That discussion ends, and we enter winter, I believe, as our time has allotted for us. We're going to turn once again to Jennifer and start with someone goes missing. They're alone in the winter elements. Choose one. The community organizes constant search parties, and eventually the person is found. Project dice are not reduced this week, or no one ever hears from that person again.
I think Doug went missing.
Doug did go missing.
Odd.
And
Doug! Our Doug?
Our Doug. I don't think we can let Doug go. We have to stop and take care of finding Doug. Because he is a good boy.
Good boy.
Part of me wants there to be like Toto has founded a commune. I don't know.
What does
I think
what does winter look like here? Is it actual winter? Has the frost
it
come?
turns black and white. All of the color in Kansas proper is gone for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, chills.
Yeah.
And winter gets longer every year.
Except for the rift.
Except for the rift.
I think
yes,
the
because
rift continues
our
to
Kansas.
glow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spewing
Which having no
legally
color
distinct
makes building
emerald
the
into the air.
building the yellow brick road very difficult because we can't discern whether the bricks are yellow or
No,
That's
everybody.
why it's Technicolor.
Like winter is coming, and outside the fields and everything, it is black and white. But like, how do you keep away winter? In your house is still your house. And so there is still warmth and color around the homes where you're eating off the plates, right? Because that's what you are. It's effectively, you're defending this tiny oasis of Americana and warmth and home from this winter. And so Doug outside, when you find him, he is almost gone entirely black and white. He is not a golden, nothing sadder than a not golden lab. And he's there and he's black and white and he's all huddled down.
Just be a retriever then.
He's just a retriever. And so what was it? They find him, but
So they find him, but our project dice don't advance, which is good and appropriate. Jennifer, would you like to make a discovery? Would you like to start a new project or host a discussion?
I think we need to start a project of trying to communicate with the turtle.
Okay, try to communicate with the. So we're not just killing the world. Okay, what a choice. Yeah, that's very good.
I mean, we'll see what happens. It could be that we kill the world, but first, I think we maybe create an expeditionary force to try and.
Yeah. How long do you picture that taking?
3 weeks.
Okay. While that is going on, I will pull our next card. For Pat, you can choose a headstrong community member takes charge of the community's work efforts. A project fails, and then a different project finishes early, or a headstrong community member tries to take control of the community. How are they prevented from doing this due to conflict? The project dice are not reduced this week.
You know what? The community does go out. They bring Doug back.
Mm-hmm.
And I do imagine, like, literally, it's the one thing that everyone can get behind is you gotta go find Doug. And so, like, they're canvassing everywhere. They do the line, and it goes out, and they bring Doug back. His gold is almost gone, but he comes back, and they put him by the fire. And so, and then, he sleeps for a long time, and then his color does come back, and he comes out and he looks around and he goes, and he's just hur, 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 and he barks and he barks and he barks. And it's clear that he is like looking at everybody and he's trying to talk, but he can't anymore.
Ooh.
But he's trying to rally the community, and so he goes up to people and he's like, "Rah, rah, rah," and then he goes and he looks back and they follow him, and he does this with everyone, and he's over at the Turtle Talk project, and he's over with the other, what the other project is, the Yellow Brick Road, and so he's obviously trying, and people are trying to listen, and it just. No, it doesn't work because nobody can understand where's the well and is Timmy in it, you know, because he can't talk anymore.
Gotten too used to talking dogs, our community. So yes, Project Dice do not advance this week, and we turn over to Mikey. Mikey. Oh no, wait. Actually, Pat, you may choose. Would you like to host a discussion, make a discovery, or start a new project?
People discover, oh boy, the tornado finally starts to descend. Can that count as a
so
discovery?
There's a funnel cloud like stretching down.
It is straight up, like it's over the town in general, and the swirl, it's been building so slowly. It was circling for so long, but now the cone is starting to form. And so it could conceivably still touch down anywhere in town.
I love that it's just like moving in slow motion. This thing that is normally terrifyingly fast is now just.
Which, if you've ever actually seen one, it is because you know it's so big and powerful and far away, and it does look so languorous. You're like, yeah, oh, cool. But you're like, oh no. It's like slow motion lightning. It's so disconcerting.
Perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, so I believe that is our discovery, and we'll move on. Mikey.
Yes.
An infected outsider arrives seeking amnesty. They have some much needed resources with them. Choose one. Welcome them into the community and remove a scarcity, but also introduce an infection to the community, or bar them from entry. What scarcity could they have addressed? How does its need become more dire this week?
I think they show up. This is they called I'm trying to remember what they called themselves when they showed up, because they had like
Marblites?
No, because like they said they were aware of the Marblites, but this person just showed up in like a trench coat and a hat, looking all serious, and they had a wagon full of gemstone wheat. And we're like, do we need that? So I guess that the answer is yes. I'm gonna poison us all. We need this gemstone wheat. Come in here.
All right,
trench coated friend.
Minor X card, and this is going to be so infection, can mean disease, but we can a half step away from that. And I will say what I would prefer is the infection be an idea or trend of some kind that maybe is not desirable. And
what if what if he does have a trench coat and it is a vibrant emerald green? And he brings
what
it.
If
He's
it's
like,
a coat of many colors?
Everything is so good where I came from, folks.
He also has a stack of Hannah Van Buren commemorative plates. I've been trying to work that in for this entire game, just to be like, yeah, it's Hannah. Look it up. I knew one. Sorry, continue.
But maybe the dangerous idea is, if like, look at what we have in Oz, don't you wish you could go there instead? Right.
Yeah, very Oz'd out, this mysterious stranger with threatening ideas. We're unsure.
An Ozcore stranger. Around
not a lot of pro Oz in the Surrender Dorothy village, as it turns out.
All right then. You can choose if you would like to discover.
His skin has a hint of metallic sheen.
And he's a coward. You can choose whether you would like to discover something new, host a discussion, or start a project.
I would like to host a discussion about what I've been hearing around the village with our new friend in the trench coat, spreading all these pro Oz ideas around town. I'd really like to ask is if this is really what we want. Do we just want to be another Smallville? Because we saw what happened to them. Is that what you want to happen to you? And that's my big anti-Oz question.
So big anti-Oz statement to start us off. Okay.
Oh, that was the question. Do you want to become smart? Because I just determined Smallville has destroyed themselves so slowly over time, and we've just watched it. So
I'm trying to think who this cast of characters is somewhat intimidating.
Very boring Mercutio was my other one, I believe.
Oh God, who I was going to try to make somebody a planeswalker from one of the other games that we did. I forgot that was my intention, to like bring a character from one of the other games in here, and I forgot until now. But no, I'd say
Tabitha.
Tabitha, Jesus, or Johnny Speed. But no, like, how about this? Just I am a generic town person, and it's like, I don't know, folks, like, Oz, sometimes they wander by. It's like they don't send a caravan. There's nothing reliable there. Do I love it when they show up and then we get like strange fruit and like a witch comes and then it's like, sure, they can cure your fever, but it's not like we can rely on them. It's been months. We've been waiting for the tornado. Like, I set a table, and we've been waiting, and I think they are fine as distant cousins. But they are not reliable neighbors. They are not people we can trust. And honestly, I wouldn't want them marrying my daughter. And I said it, and I'm not ashamed of that. Do they make fine shoes? Absolutely. But you know, I don't want them close by, and I wouldn't go there. And I'll be staying here with my family.
I'm just like standing backing the speech.
Well, I might just be a simple farmer and also a godlike figure that winds the grist of life out from the air itself to provide our community with the things that allow it to move. But growing up, my father always said people will pass through your life and they will fill your world with strangeness. And it is up to you to decide whether your world is something that can deal with strange things occasionally passing through it, or whether you are a creature that lives in something fragile like a bubble that will shatter as soon as a harsh wind comes along. Now, I've been living as long as I've been living, and I gotta say, I haven't decided that I live in a fragile bubble yet, and I don't seize that I'll start doing it now.
And I think I can't remember, what did we name the little boy? Oh, Artie comes up, mud trailing behind.
Artie constantly covered in
so
mud, like
muddy.
Big Ben.
That's how he found the mask. He was digging in the dirt and the mud. Well, I think that there's always new things to discover, and people from outside might have information about those things. So it's worth listening to them and going and see the other things. Because if we stay here by ourselves, we're never gonna get to find anything outside of right here. And I am the voice of the future.
Is he wearing a mask right now?
Like a half mask?
One, like
one of the
on his
masks.
head, and at the end he pulls it down.
Yeah. Ooh.
Artie
And
becomes
then-
the Phantom of the Opera before our eyes.
What is
And
the
then-
mask?
So he pulls down the amber mask. I'm not sure what it looks like, but I know that it begins to glow.
Is it a turtle face?
Sure.
I would like it to glow the same color green that the insides of Dorothy's house glowed once.
Yes.
Okay.
The green starts to swirl inside the mask.
I am the voice of the future. Dang. Also, even without the mask, that is sometimes a thing that a 6-year-old child will just say. And you're like, this is either adorable or I am now in a movie that I did not agree to be in.
Horrifyingly ominous.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I'll check with our people. We are sort of, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are at time. We have the opportunity to give Julia a final turn? I don't know how hardened out people have. Do we have another 5 or 10 to put a bow on it, or should we come down like hard here? Okay.
I'm good to stick.
Okay, cool.
All right. That, we will turn to Julia. Julia.
So, for a turn or for the discussion?
Oh, for a turn. Although, if you would like to add to the discussion, we can start.
No,
with
it's
that.
all good. I was just wondering.
All right. So this is a turn. I have going to tick down things. Actually, because of this, Forge a Yellow Brick Road has completed.
Awesome.
Who was owner of the Yellow Brick Road?
I think that was Julia's.
It was Julia's.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Easy.
how fortuitous.
Okay, so I think what we kind of discovered is it's Technicolor because of the rift, and
Mhm.
also because things are turning black and white, and you can't quite see what colors you're putting down or creating.
Yeah. Does it, Julia? My question. Part of my question is, when you complete it, when it becomes complete, does it then turn Technicolor? Like all of the bricks that were previously colorless, like suddenly activate?
Yep,
Cool.
Like
absolutely.
Christmas lights, you can see which ones are the wrong type of brick and you can replace them.
Yes.
There's one purple brick. One.
Now, out of curiosity, just because either this is a road that they have been building to a place, or, because when when Dorothy starts on it in the movie, it literally starts in one place and it goes out and she follows it. Is the completion of this project, not necessarily like laying the last stone of the road, is the completion of this project bringing into existence the yellow brick road where we finally, and then it goes, and then we see where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where does that go, Julia?
Oh gosh. I think it's leading towards the rift. Towards the mouth of the rift.
Follow the Technicolor Road to Arkansas.
So down into the rift. And is that what we know, is it goes down into the rift, but nobody's gone there yet?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
What's her face? The young girl did, right?
Yeah.
And she said that Earth is
Petaluna.
breathing. Yeah, Petaluna did.
Well, she's been in the rift, but has she followed the road into the rift?
No, this is new.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Then we draw the card for you, and you must choose. Now is a time to conserve energy and resources. A project fails, but gain in abundance. Or now is a time for hurried labor and final efforts. A project finishes early, but gain a scarcity. And there is only one ongoing project at this time, and it is start a dialogue with the turtle.
Oh boy. Wait, what? So either that goes very right or very wrong, and then we get a scarcity or abundance.
So you can choose whether start a dialogue with the turtle fails and we gain an abundance, or start a dialogue with the turtle finishes early, but we gain a scarcity.
I'm gonna say.
I'll also say right now, I think we have an abundance of gemstone wheat because the Oz guy showed up with that. So we do have two abundances.
Yeah.
My idea here is that we start that dialogue and it goes well, and I'll kind of leave it up to you all to a certain degree, like how that conversation goes, or is it with Petaluna, is it with one of the other members? But somehow the turtle insinuates that like he needs to preserve that powder life in order for him to thrive. So that becomes a scarcity. Like we need to, it's a trade-off.
What if like we go down the now complete yellow brick road with like, you know, the cart, like what do we have to, a peace offering or something, like, you know, with the cart full of powder life, and sort of offer it up. It's like, oh, hey, we're meeting you for the first time. This is are you a god? Then it's a sacrifice. Are you a neighboring nation?
We need the powder life in order to have the dialogue.
Oh,
that is
yeah.
what facilitates the speech.
Yeah, he like speaks at the speed of Ents. You know, it's like very, very slow speech, and we constantly need to feed in powder life in order to get it.
I think that's great. And so, yeah, like maybe down there you make like piles of the powder life and people lay in it, and they can, you know, then they can sort of talk. But it uses up all of the powder life we have available. And what's the communication that happens?
I think it's ongoing. It's like a slow thing, but we can tell it's quite important that we hear it.
Yeah.
We're basically remoras at this point.
At best.
Then we draw the final card. The Frost Shepherds arrive. The game is over. And kind of how I think this manifests in this particular instance of this game is that the funnel cloud, which we have been waiting for, finally touches down and reaches the soil of Kansas, and it opens a rift to another world. It creates that bridge that we have been waiting so that we could see our neighbors from Oz. But the place that it opens to is not Oz.
Everyone's waiting for that rich green emerald light to well up like it always has, and instead, like red a little too much, but like I think a red, like a deep upwelling red light out of there. Yeah. Or like a pale blue light would maybe, like as the frost shepherds come out or something. Yeah, that's very good.
There we
Can
go.
I add to where the tornado touches down?
Yeah.
To make,
Sure.
I think that the windmill starts turning faster and faster and faster, and sparks start shooting
Yeah.
as the tornado lands at the old mill.
Yeah, no, of course. Thank you. Yeah. And there you see it does touch down, and there's the blue light, and suddenly you can see there are people there as if they have been working it all this time.
They all wear masks.
And they all wear masks. Yes, absolutely. And then the frost starts to form down that river.
This is just Narnia. It's just opened up to Narnia.
And then the queen.
It's multiple layers of reality is
Man,
what we're dealing with. It's
Man.
like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
So this isn't part of the game, but it's something that we've done in the other games that I do like, because what I love about this game when you just play it with friends is it always ends before you want it to. But what that means is that you end up with a world you can still remember and think about. And it's like, boy, I wonder what would have happened if we could have got 3 more turns or something like that. Or you think, ooh, if only we could have completed, or if only this had broken a different way. But in terms of overall, like, narrative satisfaction, here on a stream for the charity, for this storytelling experience we're doing, I love, that is where the game stops. But can we have an epilogue where everyone asks everyone a question? It's like, whatever happened to, or whatever came of, and then everyone gets to ask one, and then everyone gets to chime in with cool ideas about it. And that sort of can provide a little closure to what otherwise is a sort of story that will drive certain people absolutely crazy for the rest of their lives. So can we do that real quick?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do that exchange of questions.
Now there is an abundance of Turkish delight. That is very good from the chat. So who wants to start with a thing they are curious about, or where does this go, or how does this resolve? Or
I want to know if Petaluna went to zoology school and sort of put to rest these well, we could say trauma, because there's a lot of stuff going on, but I want her to be like happy, and she learned that she doesn't have to like talk to animals to communicate with them. Like that was ultimately what she took away, and now she's like the head of zoology for Beige Town.
I love that. I love that so much. And yeah, does she ever come back though, or does she just go around in the world like sort of spreading the good word?
I feel like Petaluna was quite scarred and found it difficult to deal with the anti-Oz sentiment, the anti-animal sentiment. Like it was a really tough town.
Yeah.
And she always wanted to leave, and finally she got that chance.
I like that.
I have some flavor that isn't a question, but when you say like it's a story that would stick, we haven't seen Dorothy this entire time.
No.
What if she steps out of the rift with the frost?
Yeah.
That as soon as you
Yes.
mentioned Dorothy, her coming through like the Ice Queen, right?
One of them wears ruby slippers.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's all this frosty pale blue, except this woman comes out with a crown, and there is a red light around her feet. Fuck, that's
Has she
good.
stolen Glinda's crown?
Oh.
I feel like
Yeah.
Dorothy absolutely
We
never
haven't had a
wears
Wicked Witch of
green,
the North.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dorothy's pissed.
What have
I-
you done to my house?
Uncursed
thing,
it, ma'am.
a thing that I would like to
Only the
see-
inside.
the thing that I would like to see resolved is we dug up 3 masks in the beginning when we unearthed those amber masks. Who are the other 2? Who do the other 2 masks go to? Who adopts them as mantles? Because one went to this young boy
Yes.
who is the voice of the future.
Do we have a museum in town for all the stuff we've been digging up? Maybe we could start one so that everyone can enjoy the masks.
Something, because I think in this sort of semi-time period, museums weren't so much a thing, but you did have what was called a curiosity cabinet. Like posh people would have a curiosity, and like people would come over, and you're like, "Have you seen my meteorite?" Or "Here, this is a tribal mask from darkest antipodes," or like it was all that British Royal Society bullshit. But like the cities would
Florida.
The darkest Florida. This is the native garb of the Florida man.
Also, in that cabinet is Smallville.
Yeah. This is Smallville, Kansas.
I think the third mask goes to Doug.
Oh, Doug. Well, I think I'd love it. I think Petaluna has the mask because she was friends with Artie. He gave her one, but she never wore it and has no desire to wear it. But
so her cabinet of curiosities?
I think she took it with her when she went. So that's one mask. That's kind of neat, you know, just her having it.
Yeah. And then the other went to Doug. Doug, the living dog that cannot talk.
That's so sad. We have told the saddest story.
But just because he can't talk, we don't know what that mask allows. Or what the powers are.
But I mean,
that's true.
Something much darker than speech.
We can still bring resolution to Good Boy Doug too. Larson off to the Matham house with all the things. Yeah, fine. Now it has a Matham house in this town. That's a very good pull. So that was Julia's. We did. Who else do we have left?
I've done mine.
I think the two factory owners reconcile.
I was thinking the same thing. This is why I love playing games with my friends. But here's the thing. James, can you, when he goes to her, can I hear his initial foray into reconciliation to Angeline? When he knocks politely on the door, and I'm assuming he has a little bouquet of something, you know,
with the slicked back hair,
and he's put on it came, the suit doesn't fit anymore because it's been 40 years. But can I hear that? And then I'd love to hear what she says with the mind that this is aiming towards it's good between them finally. I love that.
Yeah. He knocks on the door and opens. He presents what is like a pitiful bouquet of daisies, hands them over and says, "Yeah, I've lived my whole life as a farmer, and for a brief period, that being which drew life into the world to make this community move. And I have, in my past, been a prideful man, and that has divided our hearts for a great long time. But my pappy always said to me that pridefulness is a thing that belongs to the hearts of the living. And here I find us on the threshold of death. And therefore, I discard my pridefulness and instead offer my heart to you."
Well, it took you long. You might be told by now. And she opens the door, and you can see that she has a table set with 2 cups of tea. Aww. And in the center is an empty vase ready for the flowers. And she says, "Come on in.
That's beautiful.
Jen,
I'll go get the cakes."
Okay, you know, I think, is mine the only one that's left, or do we have one more?
I think yours is the only one that's left.
Then I think, because there's nothing better to end on than that, except as the camera comes around and you open the door and you see that, and she's like, "Well, you're letting the cold in," you know, and so he closes the door, and then the camera does pan around, and you see Doug by the fire, content. He's a good boy. And now he is in this mended home in this town that is okay. And his tail is thumping happily on the floor as he watches them sit down.
Made only minorly sinister by the fact that he's wearing an amber mask.
That begins to glow.
Yeah, it begin to glow, for sure. For sure.
I am the future.
Oh boy. I love how each of these games each of these stories and worlds could not be, I'm always ready to steer them in a different direction. And I do not need to. They are all so beautifully, beautifully unique. Oh, I love these people. Everybody in chat. One of my greatest joys is to bring you who do not already know them into contact with these people I know. And I'm glad that I do this partly for charity. Remember, we're doing a charity, so you can wander over there and buy this game, support a charity, buy a book, support a charity. Just give us money, double charity points. And you'd get to have the real commodity, right? The real commodity here is go put some money over there, and then you will feel good. Because, who wishes the world were a little better? I think kind of all of us, but it's hard to figure out how to do that. If you put some money over there, rest assured that we will use that money to do more fundraisers, to feed kids, to help refugees, to make the world a better place as best we can. And we'll do that with your help. Also, if you just enjoy this thing we do is made possible by the fact that we do have some resources, and we can have employees to coordinate and schedule. And so if you're like, I don't know about charity, and you're like, if you like this and this has made your day better, you want to just put a little bit of money in there for that, that's also good. We'll take that, even if you don't care about charity, but you want to say thanks for this, that's cool too. Before we sign off, could everyone here mention, where would you like people specifically to try to find you and enjoy all of the other beautiful things that you bring into the world? Let's start with James.
Great place to check me out is go subscribe to the Campaign Skyjacks podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, or Spotify, what have you. Just search for Campaign Skyjacks. You'll be able to find my anti-colonial pirate story that is inspired by the music of the Decemberists. You can also pick up my newest book, The Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide Expanded Genres Edition, so that you can explore your own creativity as well.
I'll also say that somebody you might know did guest into Skyjacks once and won an award for it, which I found out, and I was kind of a little tickled to find out that Jolly Jack, my talk about swanning in and taking credit for things that I don't deserve, right? But it's such a good podcast, everybody. Please do check it out. Jennifer.
Yeah, I am Jen Kretschmer. You can find me at the places listed there. Usually the best place to keep up with stuff is on Twitter, but also Tuesday nights on Demiplane RPG is where we do Children of Erte, which is a D&D campaign in a really cool world created by Deborah Ann Wool, who DMs for us. And I love what we're doing on that show. I'm really proud of it. And a number of other things. And starting this Friday on Be Never Ending, we are doing Radiant Stories, which is going to be a series of adventures from the Radiant Citadel book that's coming out from D&D with some of the authors who wrote them as well. So it's going to be really exciting. I cannot wait. It's an amazing group of people. So that starts Friday.
And Mikey?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at MikeyFaze, aforementioned youtube.com/filmjoy. We also have a D&D show I realized I haven't plugged. We did 4 episodes of a show called Hot Quest. It is youtube.com/hotquest, all one word. It's really funny and goofy and silly, and it has animation, and I like it. Thank you. That's all. I yield my time.
And Julia.
You can find me at the links in that corner area. J Maddalina anywhere if you want to see all my artwork in one place. That's my portfolio, and yeah, that's about it.
And I am, as always, am Neil Gaiman. Thank you so much for. You can find my work literally everywhere. I'm so good at everything.
Go to neilgaiman.com.
neilgaiman.com.
The Sandman coming out on Netflix.
Sandman's coming out.
Good Omens 2.
Good Omens 2.
Amazon Prime.
I'm a showrunner. I write comics and scripts and books. I'm so prolific. I'm really attractive.
Incredible. Wow.
I've got a great, I'm an like world-class audio narrator. Also just
gorgeous hair somehow.
And my hair is good. When I grow a beard, it looks way better than it should, because that was the only thing Pat Rothfuss had on me. So I decided I had to take that away from him too, and grow a beard and show that I was better at that too. So yeah, you can just, pretty much you look out your window and there's something that Neil Gaiman has done is right outside there, and it's the most beautiful thing that you see.
Because he wrote Doctor Who, so the TARDIS just shows up
for
an adventure for you.
Yep.
Just how it goes.
Yep. I hope nobody clips all of these out and sends them to Neil, because it's a joke I make all the time.
I hope Neil clips all of these out and sends them to you. That's what I hope.
Oh no! Oh,
that's all you ever hear.
Boy, yeah.
New ringtone.
Oh, Jesus. And on that note, everybody, thank you so much. We are doing one more of these. We have scheduled. I'll be streaming off and on through the end of the fundraiser. Please be aware if you're thinking, I would maybe like to pick something up and buy a cool thing and do a charity all at once. There's only a couple of days left. This isn't like a Kickstarter and it lasts for a month. We have literally a couple of days. So if you don't head over there and jump on it, you will miss your chance to buy some of these things. But we have one more of these tomorrow. Man, let me mention, I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm just going to quick ruin everything by opening 1,000 tabs and finding the time on my calendar, which is, it looks like around 5:36, we're going to be swinging into action, doing one of these with everyone's best friend, Brendan Lee Mulligan, Maud Garrett. We're going to be doing Quiet Year again. And so if you like this, there's more of that there. We've also have a couple that have been recorded, video on demand or over on YouTube. Tell your friends, share it around, share the joy, take care of yourselves, and take care of the people that you love. And I will see you all soon. Bye.